And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Appreciate your patience here this morning as we got set and ready to go for this broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We appreciate you being here up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /Wake Up Call DT. And on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So however you're connected with the show, we thank you for being here. Thank you for spending time with us. We have a fantastic show set up for you. And of course, we are inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Get yourself over to Great Lakes Honda City today and find your next ride. They have something for everyone. Whether you're looking for an SUV, you're looking for a car, you're looking for a mid-range vehicle, a truck, whatever it may be, Great Lakes Honda City is the place that I have trusted for over a decade. And that's why I always tell you to go there, because as you know on the show, I will not tell you to do something or go somewhere if I wouldn't myself. So make sure you head over to Great Lakes Honda City today and let them know that DT sent you. They are open for sales and service Monday through Saturday. And we look forward to seeing you over at Great Lakes Honda City. With that being said, here inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', giving you a list of topics for the day. Murph is here with me on a Murph Monday. DT and Murphy starts off your week every week here on Wake Up Call, and we're going to be talking about two postseasons. One that is coming to its close, believe it or not, and one that is just beginning, with the college football playoff going to the national championship a week from today, almost an exact week from today, because we're coming to you on Monday morning on January 12th, and that game is going to be played at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on January 19th. I will be down by the grace of God back in Miami. I was there for the Capital One Orange Bowl. Before that, I was out in Texas in the Dallas-Arlington area for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, and in between all of this, I was at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia. So Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington area, to Miami, to Atlanta, back to Miami for the national championship. So next week, I will be broadcasting live on Championship Monday from Miami, Florida. And I'm looking forward to that. We're a week out from it. Murph and I will talk about how we got here and how Murph's Freudian slip ended up being correct. Then we'll get into the NFL playoffs, and we'll have an opportunity to speak on the fact that I got every prediction that I had correct, except for the Jaguars, except for my team that I love in the comfort of my own home. Every one of my other predictions, spot on. 5 of 6 in this wild card round. So we'll discuss the NFL playoffs, and then we'll get into GG cards and breaks. I'm going to showcase for you, kind of bringing all this together. I opened up a box of Bowman U, and they have the first cards of a ton of players. I got some great stuff. I got some grab and stash players that I have their first card, and if they trend upward, then those cards are obviously going to be cards that I'll look to bring out and sell, like I did with Julian Sand and Jackson Dart. And then I have some that you already know that are already worth something that are probably coming with me to trade night. So GG Cards a Break, Sports Card Show and Tell. We'll do that with Murph as well. We appreciate you being on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, and Instagram at wakeupcall_DT, all the time on wakeupcalldt.com. And if you go to our website this morning, you can now go straight to our merchandise store and shop from there. Go to wakeupcalldt.com, and right underneath the live feeds for YouTube, Facebook, and Podbean, it says Shop Our Merchandise Store. There's a button that says Shop, and you can support not only Wake Up Call, but Dan Tortora Broadcast Media and all of our shows by going and shopping at our merchandise store today. With that being said, let's bring in the man that is with us on Mondays, Mr. Murph. And I'm really excited because being a week out from the national championship, folks, we're not sitting here saying that the championship is going to be played next Monday. So, everything's happening on Monday. I'm heading down to Miami on Friday. And we have team arrivals on Friday. We have media day on Saturday. Head coach's press conference on Sunday. The game on Monday. The champions press conference on Tuesday. The handoff to the next site on Tuesday. and then we're back at home. So this is very much like a Super Bowl week. There are events for the media for many, many days. And so I'm back here in the studios for a little bit, and then the Great Lakes Honda City Studios will do what Hondas do and take me on the road down to Miami. Murph, how we doing?
Doing good, my friend. And yeah, my Freudian slip is correct after all. That was an interesting weekend, but I almost forgot about how those games went because the NFL games were so good. We had well, I did ask you for a scouting report on Mendoza and Dante Moore. I don't
Yeah.
know that I'm going to be needing that because I think it's clear and obvious who's going number one
Yeah.
and who should not go number two, and who should either go back to school or let somebody else deal with that headache of selecting Dante Moore.
Yeah, Fernando Mendoza, he had himself a day. I talked about it from the field and from the end zone of Indiana at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl down at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I want to thank Gary Stokan, Matt Garvey, Dylan Faulkner, the entire team at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, because once again, they did a tremendous job. It was extremely professional. It was well planned, well put out. It's an amazing experience. I would tell anybody in the media to apply for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, to the Aflac Kickoff, which is also run by Peach Bowl Inc. at the start of the season. I got to end my season last season in Atlanta, start my season this season in Atlanta because they had the national championship. Then they had the Aflac Kickoff doubleheader. Then, in literally 300, within 365 days, they had the semifinal. So they've had all of this within a calendar year, and fantastic experience. So once again, I would tell anybody to come down there. And of course, I was at the Peach Bowl last year when it was in the quarterfinals. But watching Fernando Mendoza and what he did in this game, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, through the multiple receivers. I think it was 4 different receivers caught a touchdown in the game. And I mean, he just orchestrated an offense that did a fantastic job. The defense, first play of the game, D'Angelo Pons, who was here on wake up call going into the game, he, on the first play from scrimmage after the kickoff, intercepted the ball, jumped the route on Malik Benson, who ironically had the only offensive touchdown the first time these two teams saw each other, almost exactly 3 months before that Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl semifinal game. Malik Benson had a touchdown in the first quarter, I believe it was 44 yards from Dante Moore. This one from the 25-yard line, intercepted because Malik Benson's route was jumped by D'Angelo Pons, who brought it to the house. So some irony there on how all that shook out. But yeah, I mean, you can't turn the ball over against Indiana. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They don't turn the ball over themselves. Giving them extra possessions is a bad thing. And obviously, first play of the game is not how you want to start things off. In the first half alone, there were 3 turnovers by the Oregon Ducks that led to 3 scores by the Indiana Hoosiers. And yes, to your point, Fernando Mendoza, I have no doubt in my mind the Las Vegas Raiders will draft him number 1. And number 2, I said this during the game, and I mean no disrespect. This is just analysis. This is just my thought. If I'm a GM, this is nothing negative toward Dante Moore at all, because I enjoy speaking with him. I am happy to see him out there. I was excited to see what he could do this season. If it were me and I was a GM and Dante Moore put his name in the draft, I would draft him on the 3rd day. I would not draft him in the
Wow.
first. I wouldn't draft him in the first round. I would not. I would wait until the 3rd day. I'd get a value pick, bring him in, but and he was asked this question, and of course, as players do, they don't answer this right after the game, and I don't know why people would expect them to. They're not Lane Kiffin. He did not say what he was going to do, but I would, if I were in Dante Moore's inner circle, I would say, you've got a name out there, you've got people watching you. Come back to school. Let's run this thing again. Let's show them what you can do consistently. Let's show them that you can be good against the best teams. And then let's send you to the draft. As of right now, Dante Moore. If Dante Moore goes 2 overall, that's a testament of the quarterbacks that are out there. I mean, Ty Simpson, they said he's looking at going to the NFL draft, and I mean, I wouldn't draft Ty Simpson on the first or second day. So I'm not judging. I'm not sitting here to judge Dante Moore on one game, and I'm not sitting here to judge him at all. My name Daniel means God is my judge, which literally means that I do not judge people, and it's a reminder to me that none of us should. Assessing Dante Moore, this is not 1 and 2. This is Fernando Mendoza, and this is, hey, Jets, go to free agency, go to trades, see who's out there, make some moves. Mac Jones has been really good for San Fran. There's guys out there that have played starter. There's guys out there that can help you bridge the gap if you don't have a quarterback that you want to draft this year. I want to caution teams, and I know this is a long-winded intro here, but I want to caution teams to understand that I would rather, as a general manager, draft a vet, draft somebody with play as a starter or play in an NFL game who has done some good things. I would rather draft that than draft a rookie if I don't believe that that person's going to be my future. And like, instead of being forced to giving a ton of money to a guy who's just coming in, I would say beyond Fernando Mendoza right now, and obviously I have to do a deeper assessment of everybody, but beyond Fernando Mendoza, I would caution teams for going early on a quarterback. I'd rather see the Jets make a move for a guy who has experience, who can play good ball. And keep in mind, Kyle McCord's a third-string quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, who aren't in the playoffs anymore. And Kyle McCord, I believe from a conversation I was having this weekend, had better numbers than Fernando Mendoza and everybody else yardage-wise this entire season, and he's a third-string quarterback. So I would say to the Jets right now, look to free agency, look to trades, look to acquiring somebody in the league, and do not feel forced to draft a quarterback at number 2.
100%. I was just thinking the same thing, but there's also a name that has creeped up simply because of a report that has come out about the NCAA not giving him a 6th-year waiver.
Yeah.
And that is the kid from Ole Miss. I'll let you say. I don't know how to say it.
Chambliss.
Chambliss,
yeah.
Chambliss. From Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you the guy's a first-round pick. I've seen one game of him. I haven't, sat down and watched any film and said that this guy's going to be, the second coming of whoever. But he can play from what I've seen. He did a really, really good job against Miami. They just happened to lose the game. It was not on him. Is essentially what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if I'm the Jets, you got 2 first-round picks. If Dante Moore declares for the draft, and some 2 or 3 teams get infatuated by him, you are in a position of strength at number 2. Because we all know Mendoza's going 1-1. Unless the Raiders are stupid enough to take somebody else. Or trade the pick. If they're open for business at number 1, I will trade both those first round picks to go up and get Fernando Mendoza. No questions asked.
Yeah.
But if they do take Mendoza, which at this point, I think they'd be foolish not to. And people get infatuated by Dante Moore, but you are not sold.
Yeah, I'm not sold.
Trade out, get another first-round pick next year. Now you have 4. And now you'll have the ammo to go get whoever you want. Maybe you won't get the number 1 guy, but you could also go trade for a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Remember Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford? Those guys were traded. The Rams had to trade for Matthew Stafford to go win a Super Bowl. There are guys out there who are good veterans that could be quarterbacks for your team. I'm not saying Mac Jones is the answer. I'm not saying Marcus Mariota or Malik Willis is the answer, but you bring them in and see how they do. I would trade a fourth for Mac Jones in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You're gonna get one in you're gonna get a comp pick anyway. I'd trade a fourth round pick for him. I don't know if I'd trade a third round pick for him, but I would at least trade a fourth. To get a guy that can play in the NFL. Now, is he a product of Shanahan's offense? Maybe, but who knows? But I think the other thing teams need to look at when it comes to evaluating college quarterbacks in this particular class, I would argue that this class is only slightly better than last year's class. We knew Cam Ward was going to be surefire number one. He's been good, not great.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart has been pretty good. The Giants look like they found their guy. They're not all that concerned that they didn't get the number one pick. If they got the number one pick, sure, that helps them. But they're not taking Fernando Mendoza. They would have traded out of the pick and gotten a boatload of picks so that they can trade for different guys. Maybe they pick up, if the Eagles cut A.J. Brown, maybe that's a good signing for them to go bring A.J. Brown in, as a number two receiver to Malik Neighbors once he's healthy next year.
Or they take all those picks and they get an offensive line to block for Jackson Dart.
You can do that too. Definitely do that too. That's something that they absolutely need.
For like the past 11 years.
But the Raiders are going to need an offensive line to block for Mendoza.
100%.
100%.
Look at Ashton Genty and look at the fact that, here he comes in, Mr. 3000, and you're not moving the ball with Ashton Genty. The Raiders, and how many times have we seen this? A team that is drafting number one overall, typically what? Needs a quarterback and what? An offensive line. What do they usually draft? A quarterback. And then what happens? They go years. Like, look at Daniel Jones. Here he is. I covered him, interviewed him a bunch of times, interviewed David Cutcliffe, the quarterback guru that worked with the Mannings, worked with worked with E.J. Manuel, and so on and so forth. And what happened? He comes to the Giants. The Giants fan, oh, this guy stinks. Oh, this guy sucks. Get rid of him. Then he goes to the Colts. The Colts are the number one team in the AFC before he gets hurt. So, and that's in 1 year. Not even a full season that he was there. They were like 11-1.
8 games. So they were 7-1.
Look at how good he's been. So I think this is something that maybe doesn't get talked about a lot. They talk about who needs a quarterback, but they don't talk about that a lot of those franchises that are drafting early that need a quarterback need a line, and how do you get both? How do you do both? Because if you trade away your picks, you can trade away the number one pick, you can get a bunch of picks, but then you don't get your quarterback. So the question is, how do you, if you're the Raiders, if you're the Giants, how do you shore up your offensive line to take care of your... the Giants already have their quarterback. The Raiders don't. But they both need a line. But we've been talking about the Giants needing a line for, a decade? How many quarterbacks have come through New York where we're sitting, or New Jersey, for real? But how many times have we talked about it and they haven't done anything? They haven't assessed it. I said 1,000,000 times, if I'm Saquon Barkley, when my rookie contract runs out, pieces, deuces, baby. And what did he do? He left. They kept him for an extra year? But he was gone. Why? Because why would you stay there? And Ashton Genty, your baptism into the NFL is to be behind a line that can't even give you a half a millisecond to get the ball in your hands to run? What are we talking about here? You put Mendoza with Genty at the Raiders. You don't do anything with their offensive line. Mendoza gets sacked 90 times this year, and Ashton Genty doesn't look like himself. They're going to have to do something with their line.
100%. And I don't know if that's going to be, in the later rounds of the draft, because you could find quality offensive linemen usually in round 2. But after that, it's going to be kind of a struggle. But, there's not going to be a lot out there in free agency, because usually when teams have good offensive linemen, they don't become available. They keep them.
Unless they're
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So ultimately, if there's a team better situated for a quarterback right now for Mendoza, it is the Jets, because the offensive line is better. Now, the weapons are probably about the same.
No.
You know, the Raiders have Brock Bowers, the Jets have Garrett Wilson. They kind of cancel each other out. The rest of the team is meh. But, you know, the Jets could easily bring in Elijah Vera Tucker back to play guard. He's a guy that's had 3 season-ending injuries, and it's not like they're going to be nagging injuries. They have all been freak injuries.
Yeah.
That's not his fault. So if I'm the Jets, I am bringing him back in a heartbeat. You know, I'd go 2-year deal, you know, very, very, very incentive based, low risk, high reward. You know, it would be perfect. And then you bring in another guard and your line is set. You got your 2 tackles. You bring AVT back, you got your guard. If you decide you want to keep Joe Tippmann at guard, you can leave him at guard, and you just bring in a center, and your offensive line is set. So, I mean, realistically, they're going to have 2 pieces to fill this year with center and one of the guard spots. Because if they like Tippmann at guard, which is what it sounds like, they'll leave him alone, and then they'll just bring in a center. You know, so ultimately, you can look at this and be like, who's really better positioned for a quarterback right now? And what has been the truly best way to develop a young quarterback? And what have we seen success with and what have we seen failures with?
Yeah.
Number one, success stories often start years before the team drafts the quarterback. They bring in the weapons.
Yeah.
They bring in the offensive line. They build the team. And then they get the quarterback. They get the quarterback that fits their system and fits with all the pieces around it, i.e., Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs were built already. They were a good team already.
They brought in a vet.
They brought in a veteran in Alex Smith for a few years.
Yeah.
Mahomes sat behind him for a year, and now he's the most talented player to ever play the quarterback position. And he's got 3 Super Bowls. Probably will be more by the time he's done. Look at... I'm trying to think of another good example. All right, let's look at some failures. Kenny Pickett with the Steelers. The Steelers have been a solid team. They've been a productive team. Kenny Pickett failed for 2 reasons. Number one, he wasn't good enough. That's the bottom line. Number 2, they had just gotten rid of Le'Veon Bell. They had just gotten rid of Antonio Brown. Mm-hmm. They didn't have a tight end that was productive. They didn't have their offensive line was down from what it had been in years past. Their defense wasn't as good outside of TJ Watt. They didn't have the pieces around them.
Yeah.
They didn't. Zach Wilson. They tried to put the pieces around him after they drafted him.
Sam Darnold.
Look what he's doing with Seattle.
Look at Seattle.
And Minnesota. He's won 28 games in 2 years.
Yeah. Look at Derek Carr's older brother, David Carr. We never saw how good he was because he came onto the Houston Texans in the expansion year in 2002, and every team has to put names in for the expansion draft so that the Texans can put their team together, and then the Texans go into the normal draft as well to get rookies. And when they went into that expansion draft, you get a bunch of names, you get a bunch of vets. It looks good maybe on paper, but those offensive linemen had not played together. You meal piece this thing, and he got sacked, I think it was 91 or 92 times.
Yeah.
We never saw David Carr's arm because David Carr never had time to throw. So we look at Derek Carr and go, wow, he was pretty good. But we have no idea how good David Carr would have been because of his offensive line. Think about that. There's a team that had an offensive line, brought in the number 1 pick, and where did it go? Nowhere, because the offensive line did not protect him. By and large, throughout his career, they didn't protect him. You have to have offense. You see, people don't talk about the offensive line unless the offensive line gets a penalty, gets a false start, holding. That's the only time they talk about the offensive line. Mm-hmm. But you can't look at the Raiders right now. Ashton Genty was one of the biggest names of the NFL draft. And look at what his card stock is right now. I would imagine his things have dropped. I would imagine that the hype is down because he did not have a good season. But what he's trying to run in the NFL as a rookie behind a line that can't, he'd probably say, send me back to Boise State. They're better than the Raiders. Like, we're not doing this. I mean, how how many times have we seen a player come into the NFL, quarterback, running back, whoever, wide receiver, tight end, that because the offensive line is not consistently good, they're not getting the ball out. Like, yes, Brock Bowers gets involved, but Brock Bowers was a roll of the dice this fantasy season because you didn't know if Geno Smith was going to be able to get the ball to him. Ashton Genty was a roll of a dice this season because you didn't know if he was going to be able to run behind that line. There's Daniel Jones was a guy that was a roll of a dice when he was with the Giants for years because you didn't know if he was going to have the time to get the pass off. Look at the Jets. Look at the Jets. I told you, and you know this, I said at the beginning of the season before a game was played, mark my words, Aaron Rodgers will make the playoffs in his first season with the Steelers. And Jets fans will sit here and say, what is wrong with us? That we couldn't figure this thing out, but here he goes there.
Woody Johnson is what's wrong with us, but that's besides the point.
But you do. You see Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers from the Jets playoff team. Sam Darnold leaves the Jets. He's supposed to, because what the Jets, and where is he now? Number 1 seed Seattle. They don't even have to play the first round in the wild card.
Yeah. Took him a couple of years and a couple of teams to get there, right. But still.
But I've been around the Jets organization, and I've talked to other people that have been around the Jets organization, and the problem with the Jets is the Jets. The problem with the Jets is their organization, their makeup. They have not figured out how to. There has to be something said about a franchise that brings in multiple quarterbacks and then they look terrible, they let them go to pasture, and then they go somewhere else, and they don't look better, they look great. They're playoff guys. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is in the playoffs. Win or lose, he's in the playoffs tonight. I
think he's going to win. I really do.
And Sam Darnold, if they play their cards right in Seattle, they're home until the Super Bowl. So just sit here and think about the fact that we're talking about multiple quarterbacks leaving the Jets and finding success elsewhere, having the opportunity to showcase themselves again and look at how good they've been. Look at what they've done. That speaks to an organization where, I mean, Sam Darnold's name 3-4 years ago, people are going, he was crap. Why? Because how he played on the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, he's washed up, he's too old. Why? Because you saw how he played on the Jets. But now you look at both of these guys, and then you look to the Jets, and you're like, what are you not doing? Nutrition-wise, strength and conditioning-wise, coaching-wise, what are you not putting together that these guys come through here, they look like they shouldn't be NFL quarterbacks, then they go somewhere else, and they're fighting for the opportunity to win an MVP or comeback player of the year or whatever it may be. I mean, there's something to be said. Geno Smith, okay? Look at what he did, going through the Jets.
Not anymore,
and going to
but
Seattle,
still.
right?
Look how he did in Seattle for half a decade.
Right, and Geno Smith, when he came into the NFL and I watched him go up against Syracuse, I said, that guy's a wide receiver in the NFL, not a quarterback. And then he comes in the NFL, does nothing with the Jets, and then he proves me wrong in Seattle, and he resurrects his career and does a tremendous job. The Jets and the Browns, there's certain teams that you go to as a quarterback. Baker Mayfield was a washed up, has been, he's never going to be an NFL starter again, goes and gets a cup of coffee with the Rams, then goes to Tampa, and then he takes a team that lost Tom Brady and makes it look like this franchise is all well and good and getting after it, and they almost made the playoffs again this year. You have to look at franchises like Cleveland and like the New York Jets, and you have to ask yourself the question, if quarterbacks come through there and are better elsewhere, if the leader of your offense, and a lot of times the leader of your team, looks really strong when he's somewhere else but doesn't look good in a Jets jersey or a Browns jersey, that's when you have to start looking at the franchise and saying, do you know what you're doing? Do you know how to develop? Do you have the pieces? Have you ever put the puzzle together? Or are you just putting certain pieces together at certain times, but you can't seem to find that corner piece? You can't seem to find that piece in the center. You think this piece fits and it doesn't, so you jam it in there. That's what these teams feel like. The Browns and the Jets feel like a puzzle that was missing a piece or two, so you took a piece from another puzzle and you jammed it in there and it didn't work, and then that puzzle piece goes somewhere else, and it looks like a mosaic, beautiful piece of art.
Yeah. And the big thing is too, over the last decade plus, 15 years that it's been since the Jets made the playoffs, folks. I was 12. I am now 27. That is the last time the Jets made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Realistically, the fact that they didn't go to the Super Bowl in either one of those playoff appearances, they had a lead at halftime, a big lead at halftime against Peyton Manning. And then Peyton Manning did Peyton Manning things and went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Granted, they lost to the Saints, but they still went to the Super Bowl because he's Peyton Manning. And the Jets did what they do best. Don't win the big game. Next year, they play the Steelers. Look like crap in the first half.
Yeah.
Go on a huge run in the second half, but it was too little too late. They dug themselves into a hole that was too deep. And they haven't been in the playoffs since. Mark Sanchez was the starting quarterback. Nick Mangold, God rest his soul, was our center. DeBrickashaw Ferguson at left tackle. These guys have been out of the league for almost a decade. I mean, the two best seasons that we've had since then were with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Josh McCown. So I don't know why the strategy isn't just go get a vet. Mm-hmm. There is a lot out there. Yes, they tried it this year with Justin Fields. He wasn't the right guy. And honestly, watch Justin Fields get a backup job somewhere. Their starting quarterback gets hurt, and he balls out for 6 weeks. Yeah. That would be the most classic Jets thing that I've ever seen. Because we're still paying him another $10 million next year, even though he won't be on the team. But to me, honestly, I wouldn't mind an older guy. Like, I'd be in the camp of a Mariota. I'd be in the camp of, I'm just trying to think of some other guys who are free.
I'll tell you who's out here. Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota, Zach Wilson, Tyrod Taylor, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mitchell Trubisky, Case Keenum, Trey Lance, Carson Wentz, Josh Johnson, Brandon Allen, Malik Willis, Kyle Allen, who I had in Houston, Teddy Bridgewater, Brett Ripien, Gardner Minshew, Skylar Thompson, Sam Howell, and then 2 restricted free agents, Tommy DeVito and Jake Browning.
I like the name I like in there. There's 2 names that I like that I would sign them both. Is Jimmy Garoppolo and Marcus Mariota. Different players, different play styles.
Yeah.
Both have had success in the NFL. Those are the guys I would go after. I think you get Mariota to be your starter. I think you get Jimmy Garoppolo to be your backup. And then you draft a guy on day 2 or day 3. Chambliss, Drew Aller, Garrett Nussmeier. Maybe some of the guys that you thought were gonna be first round talents at the beginning of the year that didn't have as good a years. You can draft in round 3, late round 2. If Chambliss just ends up being a guy that might sneak into round 1, you got the first pick of the second round. Maybe you'd trade up to 29 a couple of spots so that you get the 5th-year option, and you go and pick Chambliss at the end of the first round and make him your 3rd first-round pick. So I would sign 2 guys, and if you want it to be Mac Jones, it's fine. I think for me, I want older guys. Yeah. I want guys that have been around the league, that have had success. Jimmy Garoppolo's been to a Super Bowl. Marcus Mariota has been on teams that have been to the postseason, that have had success in the postseason. I'm not saying that these are the guys that are going to win you a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But you got to start somewhere. Ryan Fitzpatrick had the best statistical season of a quarterback for the Jets ever, and they missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
That's right, baby. By the way,
better than Namath, better than Richard Todd, better than Ken O'Brien, better than Chad Pennington, better than Brett Favre, better than all of those guys.
Think about this. Who has the best passing punter in NFL history?
The Jets.
Tom Tupa. So, because they ran out of quarterbacks.
Yeah,
By the way,
if you've never heard that story, it's hysterical.
it's I watched it. So here's the thing that's crazy. You talk about wanting Marcus Mariota, but not wanting to draft Dante Moore. Where did they both go to college?
Oregon.
Oregon. So one Oregon instead of the other. We're gonna get into
Now
Dante.
look, if Dante Moore's available in round 2, late round 2, and you want to throw a dart, fine.
Well,
But I'm not taking him second overall.
Here's the thing. You could switch jerseys in the middle of the night in the same stadium, and you could throw with a dart. Jackson, just flip him to green. So let's take a look.
Didn't we just take Jackson Dart last year?
I know. So we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the numbers of Trinidad Chambliss as well as the numbers of Dante Moore. We're going to look at the college football playoff, and we'll bring this all the way back around to the draft. Chambliss applied for a 6th year of eligibility. He did not get that year of eligibility. However, Ole Miss allegedly may be going after this thing and appealing it in the hopes that they could get another opportunity to it. So Chambliss maybe not out of it just yet. And keep in mind, Dante Moore is a redshirt sophomore. So you can go to the NFL if you have played 3 seasons or if you've been in college for the equivalent of 3 years. He has been. He had a true freshman season. Then he had a redshirt season where he actually was in 5 games but was able to redshirt. It's supposed to be 4 or less, but he was able to redshirt in those 5 with Oregon. And so this year, he played his first season as Oregon's starting quarterback after being behind multiple quarterbacks. Well, I shouldn't say being behind, but after there were different quarterbacks that came into Oregon to be under center, Dylan Gabriel, Bo Nix, Dylan Gabriel, and now Dante Moore. So Dante Moore was not the starter last year. He is a redshirt sophomore this season. So he technically has 2 more years, not 1 more year after this season, if he was willing to come back. I think it would be good for him to come back. But by the numbers of years spent in college, he can go to the NFL draft as a redshirt sophomore. So we will monitor that here on Wake Up Call inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. We'll talk about Chambliss. We'll talk about Moore. We'll talk about this college football playoff and how it all shook out, that we're in a place where neither one of those quarterbacks is going to be in the national championship. Instead, it is going to be Indiana playing Miami in Miami, but Miami's the road team. We'll talk about it right after this. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, you know, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, you know, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, you know, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. A delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Caz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point, because you get a little something different at each one. You know, we understand how hard it is to, you know, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So We take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to Buffalo, they're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing. And so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing, an amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in a sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and that's part of it, is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We are inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, Great Lakes Honda City, coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Head out to Great Lakes Honda City today and every Monday through Saturday to look for your next ride. As you know, when I'm on the road, Great Lakes Honda City is still with us as our studio partner, and you can get on the road with your new vehicle, be it a car, a truck, an SUV, a mid-range vehicle, by going over to 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, looking at their new and used inventory. And if you want a sneak peek, you can go to GreatLakesHondaCity.com right now while you're watching and listening to the show and check out what they have to offer. Here with DT and Murphy, Murph and I hanging out. By the way, want to let you all know that we added a page to wakeupcalldt.com. So if you go to wakeupcalldt.com, which I just did on my phone, if you go to the upper right-hand corner here, you click on it, and you go to Our Team, you see that it says we're a family here, and there I am. There is Murph. There's Papa Joe, Isaac Elford, Jason Lucas, Ross Turetsky, and Dave Paziak, all contributors to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and I wanted to honor them, so they are here with us, and you can now go on the website and check out our team, and if you want to join our team, you can send an email to tortoramedia@gmail.com. So, college football playoff, Murph, let's jump into this. We had a Final Four. I was there for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Out in Arizona, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl happened between Miami and Ole Miss. And then that was out on the West Coast. And then back on the East Coast area, we saw in Atlanta, Georgia, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl between Indiana and Oregon, a rematch of a game that was played on October 11th in Eugene, Oregon, and this game was played on January 9th. It was almost exactly 3 months to the date of the last time they faced off against each other. Oregon's only loss this season at the time was to Indiana. Now Oregon has 2 losses this season, both to the same team. I said Oregon played a weaker schedule, and they did. And the challenge that they had was Indiana, and they did not respond to that challenge with a victory the first time. The second time around, it looked even worse. On the other side of it, with Miami and Ole Miss, it was an instant classic. The game was insane. Nobody could stop scoring. It seemed like the latter quarter was the quarter for these teams, the second quarter and the fourth quarter. 4 straight scores in the second quarter, 4 straight scores in the fourth quarter. Started with Ole Miss in both of those quarters, and Miami ends up winning the game, and it went down to the last play, last second, heave to the end zone where Chambliss gave his team a chance. So with that picture painted, bring us into the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Let's talk about that first. A game where neither team was out of it. The fourth quarter was insane. And the second and fourth quarters of those, the latter quarters of both halves, we saw these teams pound for pound trade scores back and forth. 4 in a row scoring in the second, 4 in a row scoring in the fourth, and a fourth quarter that came down to the literal last second.
Yeah, it was that was a great football game. I didn't watch as much of this game as I wanted to because I knew full well I was going to be up late watching the Peach Bowl the next on Friday, and I had a show on Saturday and Sunday. But this game, watching the highlights after the game, you had a controversial call in the end zone of a defensive pass interference that was not called. I believe it was on that last play of the game, was it not?
It was on the last play.
That was...
Do you think it was pass interference, though?
I do.
On both?
I honestly...
Because they were both holding each other.
They were. It looked more egregious defensively than it did offensively. Because you're going to have guys that'll fight for the ball. And if they're both kind of pushing and shoving, a lot of times you're going to get a no call. It seemed like there was a little push from the offense, but the defense looked like he was... I don't remember who the corner was for Miami that did it, but it looked like he kind of was actively starting to tackle him before he got the ball.
Yeah.
To me, no matter what the offense was doing, that's defensive pass interference. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not going to sit here for a second and say Miami didn't deserve to win that football game because you would have had one more play. Could Ole Miss have scored? Sure. Would it have happened? It's probably a 70-30 that it's not going to happen. So, it may not have even made a difference in the game, but of course we'll never know. Carson Beck played well. He did throw the interception, but he played, reasonably well. Low completion percentage, but he was getting everybody involved. The rushing attack was really good. Mark Fletcher ran for over 100 yards. Surprisingly, didn't even have a touchdown of the 130 yards that he had on the ground. But Miami ran for almost 200 yards on the ground, passed for almost 270. It was, don't get me wrong, Carson Beck was not amazing, but he did enough for his team to win. He was solid. That's also a guy that I firmly believe will be picked in probably round 3, round 4, regardless of the outcome. I would be okay with Carson Beck as the quarterback you pick in round 3. Hey, he's got 2 national championships and he's about to play for a third.
Yeah.
If he wins a third national championship, you'd be like, man, this dude's a winner. He literally might get he might sneak up into the early second, late first if they win, if they end up winning the national championship. And I think drafting him that early would be a mistake. But end of round 2, beginning of round 3, I'm not opposed to taking Carson Beck. At that point, you're throwing a dart anyway. It's you got to see what sticks.
Right.
So it's worth a shot. But ultimately, I look at this game and I see an Ole Miss team that played their tails off all year, especially losing Lane Kiffin, and I see a team that's gonna probably be back. They're gonna be looking for a new quarterback next year because I don't think Chambliss is coming back. I think it might be even in Chambliss' best interest to declare for the draft because he can come back and win a national championship, but at the same time, I wouldn't hate the idea of just him declaring for the draft because he's a guy that could easily wow scouts at the combine and sneak into the first round. I'm not saying you're going to take him second overall, but in the 20s, maybe where Jackson Dart got drafted.
Yeah.
Maybe he's available with that Jets' second first round pick and he's moving up draft boards and the Jets are like, you know what? We don't want to trade back and risk losing him, so let's take him at 16 and see what happens. If you take, let's just say you take Reuben Bain at 2, or you go with one of the receivers for what's Jeremiah Smith's not coming out this year. Who's the one that is coming out in the draft? The receiver from Ohio State.
Tate's coming out.
Yeah. 2 might be early for Carnell Tate, but maybe you trade back and try to get him at like 6, but. At the same time, and then maybe you take Chambliss at 16, depending on what, teams think of him. That's not a bad play. Because if you get the quarterback later and you draft an elite talent with him, instead of the other way around, where the second guy may not be as good, but you get an elite talent with the quarterback, even if it's on the edge, that's fine. So it might be in his best interest to come out to the draft. But going back to the game, he looked pretty solid. I actually think it's funny how he and Carson Beck had almost identical stat lines, at least until you got to touchdowns. 23 of 37. Both of them were 23 of 37. Carson Beck, 268. Trinidad Chambliss, 277.
Yeah.
QBR almost identical as well. It's actually quite funny. I only just noticed that.
And to your point, though, I mean, you talk about how their stats were almost the same. Can we get off of the, and I've never been on this, but can we get off of this like Carson Beck isn't good? Carson Beck can't run an offense. I mean, can we stop? They beat Texas A&M.
Can I just say something that I think if Georgia had Carson Beck during the national championship?
I mean, think about this.
Gunnar Stockton's terrible.
Carson Beck last year hurt his right arm, and it was literally just like hanging on his side, and they hand the ball off in the SEC championship game. He hands it off with his left hand, and they win in OT.
Didn't he dislocate his shoulder?
I can't. I know his
Let me
right
find
arm
out.
had been totally, but he came back out onto the field and tried to help the team move the ball forward.
Oh,
which
he
did.
tore his UCL.
Yeah, so
he needed Tommy John.
Yeah, so you look at what Carson Beck has been through, okay, and you look how many quarterbacks are going to come through with a lame arm, hand it off with their offhand, and help you win the game. How many guys are going to come out there and put their body? He could have gotten hit. He could have gotten injured more if he got hit on his right arm. I mean, the guy is strong. The guy has won. The guy has been a leader. The guy has now taken 2 teams to a national championship game in college football.
That doesn't happen, folks.
From 2 different conferences. He put his body on the line. He won a game with one arm, literally, and it wasn't his passing arm. So, and yes, I give credit to the offensive line and to the running backs, but he doesn't have to come out there and put his body on the line again. Like, the fact that, and I don't think this way, because, again, Murph, narratives. People follow narratives. The narrative was Carson Beck's not that good. well, Carson Beck's going to go to Miami coming off an injury, but he's not that good. And he's not going to be that good of a draft pick. So you
And
follow
who's playing in the national championship game,
right.
folks?
But that's the thing.
Notre Dame fans, where you at?
Right. But you follow the narrative. They follow the narrative. They can't let go of a narrative. Sometimes you're right and sometimes you're wrong. I was right about Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers.
I agreed with you.
I was
100% agreed with you on that,
right.
by the way.
And I was right about that. Okay? But I was wrong about my Jaguars pick yesterday. Sometimes you're right and sometimes you're wrong. I didn't get up this morning and say, I'm going to tell you all the reasons why I was right about Jacksonville, even though Buffalo won. Carson Beck is not a bad quarterback. And somebody said it. They're like, why does he have to throw for 200, 300 yards? Why does he have to have some completions for people to think? Like, if he goes out there and throws for 177 yards and no touchdowns and they run the ball well and they win the game, who cares?
Look at Mendoza. He didn't even throw for 200 yards and they won by 40.
Right. He had 5 touchdown passes, but not even 200 yards. Fernando Mendoza's numbers haven't been crazy wow, and Carson Beck's numbers don't have. You're winning games, okay? And why does Mendoza not have to throw for 200 or 300 yards? Because they can run the ball. Because they have multiple running backs that are capable.
Because they're the most complete team in college football.
Look at what Hemby's doing. Look at what Black is doing. Look at what the backups to both of those guys are doing. Then you look at Miami and look at Fletcher and look at how Fletcher runs the ball and what he was able to do. The reality of it all is this, folks. You cannot say that these quarterbacks are bad or not prepared for the NFL or not good enough because they run a balanced offense. That is such a stupid thing to say. It's such a bad narrative. But see, people cannot let go of narratives because in this world that we live in America today, nobody's wrong. You just heard them wrong. So I don't want to hear this Carson Beck garbage anymore because you know what? You brought up a great point. If I'm the Jets and Carson Beck is there in late round 2, round 3, whatever, round 4, I'm going to draft Carson Beck and there's a really good chance he can become my starting quarterback. I bring in a vet. I bring in Carson Beck. I don't pay a ton for Carson Beck. I don't pay a ton for the vet. And I got 2 guys that can fight for the opportunity to be the starter.
Folks, how many number 1 picks have won Super Bowls?
Right. I have no
Not
idea.
many.
Right. And I have no idea why Carson Beck is not meeting the standards of people. He is playing for a national championship with another team in another conference, switching conferences, switching programs, switching coaches while rehabbing from an injury on his throwing side, and you still say he's not good enough? Man, some of y'all need to just sit back and admit to the world that you were wrong. It's okay to be wrong, but it's not okay to be ignorant. And right now, anybody who steps to the table, steps to a microphone and says that Carson Beck is not that good needs to check themselves. But you know what? Keep saying it. Because every time you told him he was trash, he proved you wrong. And you want to know why he proved you wrong? Because he proved himself right. He doesn't care about you. Okay, folks? He does not care about the naysayers. And Mario Cristobal said something I've been saying forever. What do I tell you all the time? Outside noise, by definition, belongs outside. What did Mario Cristobal say when they won that game over Ole Miss and the media person on the field asked him, what do you think about all the naysayers? What do you think about the people that didn't think you could make it? And he looks around and he goes, why do we talk about this? And I'm paraphrasing. Why do we talk? He's like, why do we talk about this? Why do we care about this? Why does it matter the opinion of somebody outside of my program that has nothing to do with us? Why does their opinion matter? They have no place in the outcome of a game. So to those of you that thought that Carson Beck wasn't good enough at Georgia, he proved you wrong. To those of you that thought that he wasn't good enough to go to Miami and lead Miami, you were wrong. To those of you that thought Miami ain't nothing, you were wrong. To those of you that thought that he couldn't play for another championship, you were wrong. And for those of you that think the NFL is not going to take a look at him, you are wrong. I would rather have Carson Beck as my quarterback in the draft than a bunch of quarterbacks you're talking about. So the reality of it all is sometimes as media people we're right, sometimes we're wrong. but the narrative that Carson Beck doesn't cut it is lazy, it's weak, it's played out, and it's ignorant. So let it go.
Yeah. And look, we're not sitting here telling you that he's going to be the next great NFL quarterback. We're not. But based on what we've seen in college, is he the best college quarterback ever? No. But he's a winner.
Right.
He does what needs to be done to win games, to win championships. He's won 2, and he's on the precipice of winning a 3rd. If he beats Indiana, I'm going to tell you right now, if he beats Indiana, he is going in the first round. Mark my words. Now, do I think they're going to beat Indiana? No. I think Indiana this year is the big bad wolf that nobody can beat. I don't even know that 2021 or 2020 or 2019 LSU could beat this team. That's the only team in recent memory that I could think of that would have a chance against this team.
Yeah.
This Indiana team, the crazy thing is, the Ohio State game was their coming out party. They weren't challenged all year. Then they play, Oregon. The Oregon game was a tough game. They went on the road to Eugene and won.
Yeah.
It's a great win.
Right.
They went on the road. They went on the road in a tough place to play in Iowa and beat them. That's a good win. It's not a great win, but it's a good win.
Yeah.
Then they go to the Big Ten championship game. They have not won a Big Ten championship in 70 years. 70 years since they won a conference championship in football.
Yeah.
Folks, this is a basketball school. Remember that. This was never a football school. This is a basketball school. Honestly, it still is, but it's becoming a football school now.
Yep.
Indiana wins the Big Ten, beats the brakes off of Alabama. Folks, they didn't just beat Alabama. They dismantled Alabama.
Yeah.
They did. When you have a kid, maybe not as much these days, but in the olden days, when I was a kid, probably when you were a kid, you do something, you say something smart to your mom, they're bending you over your knee and you're getting smacked on the butt.
Yeah.
That is what Indiana did to Alabama.
Yeah.
And then they went and did the exact same thing to Oregon, who is a good football team. Alabama is a good football team. Folks, remember, we were talking 2 months ago, before Alabama had lost another game, that they were the best team in college football and nobody was beating them. And Indiana embarrassed them.
Yeah.
And then embarrassed Oregon.
The point differential in the 2 college football playoff games for Indiana?
A lot to a little.
Between Indiana...
Is it at like plus 70?
Indiana's win over Alabama plus their win over Oregon, they have outscored their opponents 94-25.
Oh my God. Plus 69 point differential. Folks, if you don't understand how unreal that is, think about the best team in the NFL playing the worst team in college football. That's what this would be like on a regular basis. Because I don't care what anybody says, the NFL team's not winning 150-0.
Yeah.
They'll win probably 70-0. They're going to get tired of scoring. They're going to put it in the backups. They're just going to play chew clock, run the ball. They're not going to put up 150 points. It's not going to happen. But with Indiana, this team, as we're finding out, is the most complete team in college football that we have seen since that Joe Burrow led LSU team in 2019, without a doubt. That, in my eyes, that is the only team in recent memory that would have a chance of beating this Indiana team. I think they might, because I think that's the greatest college football team ever assembled. But
you're talking about the
game.
Joe Burrow led that beat Trevor Lawrence and Clemson, yeah.
Correct. Yeah, that to me, that's the best college football team ever, in at least that I've ever seen. 2002 Miami, who didn't win the national championship, that was a really good team too. They had some future Hall of Famers on that roster. There was another Miami team, I think, from the 90s that was the same thing. had multiple Hall of Famers and all pros on their team. Some of the Alabama teams were really good too, but
there was an Alabama team that had Mac Jones, Tua Tagovailoa, and Jalen Hurts all on the same roster in the same
and won
year.
a national championship.
Yeah, so.
That is true. That was in 2020. But yeah,
and Georgia, with the Philadelphia Eagles became Georgia North with all the guys that they took from the championship teams from there.
I know. No, but folks, if Carson Beck doesn't get hurt in the SEC championship last year, now he tore his UCL. Folks, if you don't know what that is, it's not a common football injury. It's a very common pitcher injury.
Ulnar collateral ligament.
It is right here in your elbow. I know guys that have torn it. I know the guys that have had Tommy John. It's not fun. It is not fun. Carson Beck had Tommy John. Now, the recovery period for pitchers is a lot different than the recovery period for quarterbacks, position players, etc.
Yeah.
Pitchers need to be throwing 95 to 100 miles an hour. It takes them 12 to 18 months to fully recover from Tommy John. For a position player or for a quarterback, you're looking probably 8 months, 6 to 8 months, and you're fine. Yeah. And you could throw it,
They were wondering if he was going to be ready for camp. They were wondering if this guy was going to be ready for camp in the start of the season.
He was cutting it close.
And now he's playing in the national championship. And let the record state, I picked Miami the whole way, all the way to this point. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, Miami's got to make Indiana do something they don't do, which is turn the ball over, to have a fighting chance in this game, because Indiana's so good that I said at halftime of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl to Matt Garvey of Peach Bowl Inc., I said, if Indiana keeps playing this way, they will put up 60. They put up 56.
56. Coach Signetti said, "Let's take our foot off the gas just a little bit."
I was like, Sig, give me 4 more. Find me 4 points. But no, listen.
I mean, it's basically 60. Yeah, if you ask somebody how many points, they put up 60.
Listen, when you round up over 5, right? 5 and above.
Correct.
So 56. There you go. But I mean, listen. Indiana, and we agreed on this, and we can clear the air if it hasn't been cleared 72 times already, that we never said Indiana was a bad team, had bad culture, had a bad coach, had a bad quarterback, had a bad anything. All we said was Indiana had an easy schedule, and by the numbers that I gave you,
they did.
They had an easy road. Alabama played 4 ranked teams in a row and beat them. Beat 5 ranked teams in 6 games. Indiana had Oregon, that I consider a tier 2, low tier 1, high tier 2 victory, because Oregon had a weak schedule. Iowa was a tier 2 win. I said, Indiana has to show me that they can beat a good team. And once
can we also real quick say that Illinois wasn't as bad as we thought they were, because having a good end of the season and then playing pretty well in their bowl game.
I will tell you,
I'm not sitting here saying they should have been ranked at 9th at the time. Illinois, they were not a top 25 team.
I will rank this Illinois team this year under the top 15, somewhere 20 to 20, somewhere 20 100%. To 25. But putting that team in the top 10 again, because they're in the Big Ten, and for no other reason. And I've asked people this question when they say, Dan, we beat the number 9 team in America. How can you say that that's not a good win? Because sometimes rankings are not correct. Sometimes teams are unranked that should be ranked.
Early in the season, it's tough.
Sometimes teams are ranked that shouldn't be ranked. Sometimes teams are ranked too high, too low, and it's where you finish. Okay, because who is sitting here fighting, saying, that Clemson should be in the college football playoff, right? But they were ranked high at the beginning of the season. Florida State was ranked high at the beginning of the season. So let's be real. And by the way, Indiana, number 1 team in America, we agree on that, most of us, right? They were 19 when they played
I don't
Illinois.
think anybody's arguing that now.
They were 10 spots below Illinois. So for those of you that are hanging on that Illinois win was a top 10 win, was Indiana the number 19 team in America?
So my reasoning for bringing that up.
It was, but I just want to say this really quick.
Yeah.
So Indiana, I said, once you play a tier 1 team and you beat them, then you'll truly show me, okay, I think this team has it, in my opinion. So they beat Ohio State. Before they even beat Ohio State, in the first quarter, first drive, I looked at my dad. I was like, dang it. I like Mendoza, man. I like the way he throws. I like the power. He throws with his whole body. So, like, he literally comes up and he, like, convulses the throw. Like, he gives you
That's
everything.
the way you should throw the football.
And so, like, you feel it come through him. So I said to my dad, first quarter, first drive, before this game is anything, I said, Pop, I'm on the, like, I'm here. I'm with it. Like, yes, Mendoza, you're selling me. And I picked them to beat Alabama. And I picked them to beat Oregon. All I said Indiana had to do was to show me that they could beat a good team, because Oregon had a weak schedule and they didn't beat a good team. Indiana had a weak schedule and they beat good teams. They're only getting better. So never on this show did we say Indiana wasn't a good team. We said Indiana wasn't challenged as much as other schools. But now that they have been challenged and they've responded to that challenge, now you see it. Okay, now you see it.
Mm-hmm.
Because Memphis wins all these games, but people are like, well, they got to beat Penn State. Well, they got to do this, they got to do that. If they don't do it, then it's like, well, it doesn't matter that they won 13 games. It doesn't matter that they went 11-0 until this, right? That's what people say. So to that same point, Indiana did really well against the bottom feeders of the Big Ten and had Oregon and had Iowa, which were their best wins, but they did not have a true tier 1, one of the best teams in the country victories. Now they have had 2, and they beat
3.
Oregon a second time. So
I'd say 3 now, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
because he beat Alabama too.
I still think Oregon is there. I don't put them where
Top
I put
of tier
Ohio State
2.
and Alabama. They're like a high tier 2 this year because they
Okay,
had a weak
that's
schedule.
that's fair.
And in the Texas Tech game,
They got lucky to win that game.
They played a bad game against a team that played worse. And I said, if Oregon plays the same way against Indiana that they played against Texas Tech, they would lose by 40. Murph?
What happened?
What happened?
They lost by
30. They lost by 42.
Oh, was it 42? I wasn't sure.
Or no, I'm sorry. No.
I didn't remember the actual score.
No, wait. I'm wrong.
I just know it was a lot to a little.
No, it was 56-22, so they lost by 34.
44.
So
34.
What did I say? I said, if they play the way they played Texas Tech, they will lose by 30 or 40 points. They lost by 34 points. So let's be real about something. We've never thought Indiana was bad. We just want Indiana. We wanted Indiana to play a tough team and show that they could have the same resolve against them. They've shown it now multiple times. They are the best team in America. That is the truth. Miami's got a good defense. They got to hope that and they got a good offense. They got to hope that defense. They have to turn the ball over and they have to score off of turnovers. Miami's
and they need
got
to protect the football.
Miami's got to make. Okay, this is my best one-liner for this game. Miami's got to do something that almost no team has done to Indiana this year. They got to get Indiana to get their jerseys dirty.
Yeah.
They got to make Indiana get their jerseys dirty. They got to play a punch out, drag down through the dirt of Miami. They have to make this game ugly and violent. Good, but this has to be the ugly, violent, just coming at you, Mike Tyson type of punch type of game.
Yep.
Indiana's jerseys stay pretty most of this year. Miami has to make them get their jerseys dirty. That's how they win this game. So, but back to your Illinois point that you wanted to make.
Yeah, so the main reason I even brought Illinois up was that we saw them, 63-9? Something like that they beat them. I'm wondering if that was just
they beat them by 53, I think it was.
Yeah. I'm wondering if that was like what this team is that was kind of just hiding. Like, we saw them beat Illinois. We all know Illinois is not that good of a team. And the more we watch it, it's like, that team was always in there.
Yeah.
And Illinois, to their credit, had a decent end of the year. I think they won their bowl game, did they
They
not?
did. In the Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl, they beat Tennessee.
Yeah, like that's not a nothing win.
Right.
Like Tennessee's a pretty good team.
I will say this: Illinois and Syracuse have almost the exact same jerseys and almost the exact same helmet. It's just a different letter on the helmet, but when you look at it without the letter, it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
So to the credit of the Fighting Illini, the orange and blue of Illinois did something that the orange and blue of Syracuse did not do, which is beat Tennessee this year.
That is correct. But yeah, like I think Illinois had a good enough end of the season where you could say, all right, maybe that win's not as bad as we thought it was. And now they're doing it to Alabama,
Yeah.
to Oregon. They might even do it if they do it to Miami. We're going to talk about this team in the annals of college football as being one of the greatest teams ever.
If they blow out,
We honestly will.
if they blow out Miami in Miami, like, I mean,
Folks, remember this.
that'd be
This is Miami's home stadium. They played their home games there.
yeah. Yeah.
This is a literal home game for the Miami Hurricanes.
But here's a crazy thing. Indiana fans traveled so well to Atlanta.
It was three
Dude, it
quarters red.
was like 95-5.
Oh my god!
It
was
was-
it more than
it-
was it more than that? It looked like it was maybe 75-25 on
It
TV.
was the Red Sea with speckles of Oregon. There was
Wow.
like one area that had
because
green.
Indiana's
Like-
never in anything.
Well, there was-
of course
there was
they're going
one-
to travel well.
There was one area that had green with the band.
You see how much the ticket prices are for the national championship
There's
game,
like
though?
people in the band. But the Indiana, on the streets of Atlanta that I walked, it was Indiana, 30 people, 3 Oregon, Indiana. There was a bar or a bar restaurant that I loved that I was in, Tin Lizzy's, best nachos in the country that I've had so far. So I'm at Tin Lizzy's. It's Indiana. There's like maybe
Pre or post game?
Pre. There's maybe a few Oregon fans there. There was Oregon fans that walked to the door. I don't know if they saw all the red, and they literally didn't even open the door. They turned around and walked away. Like here's my thing. Miami, you are playing a home game in your home stadium in your home city. I know Miami fans are going to show up, but I also know that there's an allotment, right, that you have to have for whoever's coming. Indiana travels so well, and it's going to be really interesting that in Miami, by the water, will it be the Red Sea again, or will Miami part it? Because we are in a place right now where I would imagine Miami fans are going to want to play a home game, but Indiana just played a home game in Atlanta. So I don't know how that's going to work out and how quick everybody got on the trigger, but I'm going to tell you this right now. The moment that Miami won, I secured my hotel and got everything set because there is no way that I was going to sleep that night and know that Miami fans in Miami were not going to just like blow the roof off the thing. So as soon before the Peach Bowl happened, I was like, let me get my tickets. Let me get everything set. Let me get my hotel. Let me lock in here because I'll be at the national championship by the grace of God, and thanks to the college football playoff and everybody that works there. And thank you to the wonderful bowl teams and bowl season and everybody who has given me an opportunity to showcase my company and what I stand for and why I stand for it. So thank you for that. But dude, this Miami is the road team in their home stadium. They may have to be in the visitor locker room of their stadium for this game. So Indiana's coming to their house. It's never happened in the college football playoff that a team has played a home game in over a decade of the CFP since its institution in the early 2010s. So here we are, Miami home game, making history, home stadium, but they're the visitor. Indiana's the home team. Indiana's fans travel well. Will they split Hard Rock Stadium between red and green, and will it be an extra Christmas for us? Or will Miami fans get to this thing Like, did they get to it quicker? Because I mean, obviously, you have to allow.
Well, they did get there first,
Right.
so it's entirely possible.
Right. So I mean, I would have. But how weird would that be that the number one team, undefeated in America, the number one team, the home team, is going and playing a road game where the fans are going to be louder for the 10 seed than the 1 seed in the national championship. Like, this is a really weird scenario that Indiana is the top team in America, but they're essentially playing a road game. And if those fans got to the tickets first, folks, it's going to be interesting, because I'll tell you this right now. If Indiana fans don't at least split that stadium, it's only because of timing, not because of the fact that they didn't try. Because Atlanta was an Indiana home game. They showed up. I don't know if I've been to the Peach Bowl, and I've been there with Georgia, and all. I don't know if any other fan base showed up better than Indiana.
Even Georgia.
To the Peach Bowl. To the Peach Bowl. I don't know if anybody showed up better than Indiana fans were in like the nooks and crannies. Like, the seats looked like they were almost completely filled. There was over 70,000 tickets sold to this game. But I'm telling you this right now. Like, it was an NFL game. But I'm telling you this right now. There were Indiana fans that were like oozing out of the cracks in the stadium. You could like see heads just coming through the cement. Like, there were fans everywhere. It was Indiana everywhere. I don't know if there was anybody living in there. I think all the lights off in all the streets of the state of Indiana. There was nobody home. Everybody had their lights on timers. Everybody had their security things set. I don't know if the state of Indiana made a penny at a bar or a restaurant, because I think everybody in Indiana was in Atlanta.
Yeah. The thing I worry about for Indiana fans is the price of tickets. Have you seen the ticket prices for the national championship game?
I'm going to look them up right now. I'm going to look up
the cheapest seat in the building is $3,500.
Let's see what we got here.
$3,500. That would be my worry if I'm an Indiana fan. Like, I don't know that I want to spend $3,500 a piece for nosebleed seats to go to this game. Now, there will be people that will be there. I am strongly convinced that based on demographic of who roots for each of these teams, Miami fans will be there, because think about how much money people in Miami have. Versus Indiana.
Goodness. Section 149, $9,500, 9508. Section 302, 3849. This is the 1,000, folks. Section 336, 3,280. Section 106, 4,000.
I'm sorry, I was wrong. 3,200.
And I'm looking at some of these. Oh my goodness! If you want Section 72 club seat, $22,494.
These are Super Bowl prices,
that's Miami
man.
Money, baby. That's
These
Miami
are Super Bowl prices.
Look at this. There you go. 3,500. That's your.
NFL title game prices.
Yeah, that's your good seat. Yeah, and so 3,500 for a bunch of these. Section 300, 3571, 3503. Or 3573. Let me look at these here. Yeah, so most of the 300 section is between $3,500 and $3,700, and those are the ones that are open. So if you want so let's hit this button. If I want to go to section 334, row 30, and I want to select these tickets, for two people, it would cost me only $7,456 to be in section 334.
This right here is why I feel like it will actually be a Miami home game.
This is a Super Bowl.
I don't know that Indiana fans are going to shell out that kind of money to go to this game.
Think about it. These Indiana fans got to buy these tickets. They got to rent a car or get Ubers. And I'm
willing to bet there will be a lot more flights from Indiana to Miami.
Right, they're probably
over the course of the next week.
But you also got to think about this. They got to get a hotel.
Yeah.
So if you're an Indiana fan,
there's a lot of so many places you can go. Keep in mind, you're half an hour, 45 minutes north of Miami.
Right. So
this is in Miami Gardens. Miami itself, downtown Miami, is 40 minutes away.
So if you're in Indiana
on I-95.
if you're an Indiana fan and you didn't buy tickets yet, you're buying tickets right now. Okay, you're getting your flight, you're getting your hotel,
You might be staying in Palm Beach.
You're getting your transportation and you're getting your tickets. Let's say for 2 people, okay? So you got $7,400 on your tickets. Then you got your hotel stay. Let's say you're staying.
Let's say you fly in Sunday afternoon.
Right. So
you're staying Sunday night, Monday night.
So you're staying 2 nights. So, and you got 2 people. So now let's say you can get because I know like tickets from up here. So let's say your tickets round trip or per person is like $700. That's $1,400. So you got $1,400 plus you got $7,400. So now we're at $8,800. So we got 80.
I imagine like what's Miami's what airline is a hub in Miami? Is it American?
American is like you can get there Delta and American, but American is the one that's
it's an American hub. Okay. So I imagine American Airlines will probably have a lot of extra flights from Indiana to Miami direct to and from over the course of the next probably week or so.
So let's say
I think that's a smart business on their part because they'll sell a ton of tickets on the flights.
Right. So let's call it $1,400 round trip. So we got $8,800. Then let's say you're going to spend a couple $100 on food both days. So that's $400. So now we're at $9,200. Plus, let's say that you don't rent a car, you just get Ubers. So you got to go Uber to the hotel, Uber to the game, and then back. So let's say on Uber you spend $250 a day. So that's $500. So we're at 92. So we're at $9,700. Yeah. So we're around what I was thinking. So we're at $9,700. Okay. So we got the flight, we got the tickets to the game, we got the Uber, and now we got to think about the hotel. So let's say your hotel is $300 a night, so that's another $600. So that puts you at $10,300. And before I broke any of this down, I said for 2 people probably $10,000. So if you haven't bought tickets yet and you're coming from Indiana, you might be spending $10,000. So
you undersold the price of the flight.
Yeah.
$1,000 a person.
Yeah.
For basic economy.
Right. So and what did I say? I said what, $700 a person?
From Indianapolis to Miami.
So think about this, Murph. So think about this, okay? I tell people that the College Football Playoff National Championship is the Super Bowl of college football. To me it's the essential. Like I experienced the national championship last year. They rolled out a black carpet, like the experience of it all. It felt like the NFL title game. That was like the essence of it from what I would expect and anticipate from something like that. So you're spending $10,000 for 2 people. That's NFL title game. Like that's the CFP National Championship is the NFL title game. I've been saying it in the essence of it, but by the numbers right now, you got 2 people coming from Indiana, hotel, food, Uber, tickets to the game, and airfare, $10,000.
Yeah, that is it's not cheap, folks. It's not cheap. That's honestly why I really don't know that that Indiana's going to travel as well. I would think that for the Peach Bowl, tickets were maybe $500 to $700 a piece. Would be my guess. I don't know how much they actually were, but national championship game, you assume that they're going to increase in price. You don't think they're going to 7x or more. So,
but I will say this about Oregon. They did travel to Miami. The Oregon fans did. They traveled probably better to Miami than they did to Atlanta.
Yeah. Probably because they couldn't get tickets to it. They probably couldn't get tickets in Atlanta.
Did I tell you, or I don't know if you saw it. So my story that I wrote about the Oregon win over Texas Tech in the Capital One Orange Bowl, I want to just show you the picture of it. This was a woman in the stands, and I took a picture of her from the field, and I used it as my game story picture. It said, she had 2 signs. It said, "Don't mess with Texas," with a line crossed through Texas. It said, "Unless you're a duck." And then somebody drew these, and I thought that duck was really well drawn. So
that's cool.
I literally saw her in the stands, and she was holding it up, and I'm like, I had a different, I was like, no, that's my game story picture. 100%. So the Duck fans did travel, but Indiana fans, like, y'all traveled so well to Atlanta, and Miami's just a little bit farther, but it's going to cost you if you do it. But think about that. Think about Indiana comes into a stadium. They're undefeated. Miami has 2 losses. Indiana's got a championship in their conference. Miami didn't play for one. And here comes Indiana, undefeated, conference champion, Big Ten, number 1 overall seed. They walk into a stadium for a national championship game, and it feels like week 5 of the regular season because Miami fans have just taken over this place and they're booing the heck out of Indiana. Like, think about that. Think about that experience for Indiana, number 1 seed, national championship, and you come into Miami and it's like you're playing a non-conference game in September.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's gonna be wild. You know,
Michael Irvin's gonna be there.
I'm excited for it. I'm very excited for it. I really am. You know, so, you know, I mean, if I'm, you know, I assume we'll make our pick next week because we have time. But, you know, I don't think that I'm going to change it right now. I'm not going to spoil it, but I don't think it's going to take, you know, it's not going to take a scientist to figure out who I'm probably going to be picking to win this football game. But I do honestly think Miami playing at home in their home stadium, they won their game first, so their fans had a chance for tickets first.
Yeah.
I think it'll be pretty split. I really do. It's the difference with the Miami fans, they don't have to travel.
Yeah.
Their only expense is going to be parking at the stadium and their tickets. They don't have to worry about a hotel. They don't have to worry about a flight to get there.
Yeah.
Indiana fans do. So
it's going to cost a Miami fan a lot. Here's the
probably
irony.
half as much money.
It's going to cost a Miami fan a lot less to go to the game, but it costs a Miami resident a lot more to live than it does to be in Indianapolis.
That is true, which is also why these people in Miami have a lot more money.
Oh, they got crazy. It's like LA money out in Florida now. Dude, I was talking to this guy about a house, like 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, $800,000. And then I said, okay, what if it's not a house? What if it's just a condo, same bedrooms, same bathrooms? He said $800,000. I said, so you're going to rent for, or you're going to buy for the same amount of money? Like, the money is crazy. If you want to be in a nice neighborhood, in a nice area, the money is bonkers in Miami because the state of Florida, people want to live there in general. We're going to take a step aside, going to take a fast break. When we come back, we will do what we said we were going to do, which is bring up those numbers for Chambliss, who may be going to the NFL, and also take a look at the numbers for Dante Moore. We're going to flip it back to the NFL playoffs, and we'll get you set and ready to go. By the way, I posted while we were talking what you think about it. Now that you've had some time to sit on it, do you believe that there was pass interference on the last play in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl between the Ole Miss Rebels and the Miami Hurricanes? You have 4 choices. Yes, it was offensive pass interference. Yes, it was defensive pass interference. Yes, it was pass interference on both, or it was no pass interference on either team. Early voting, 33.3% of you think that there was pass interference, but only offensively. 66.7% of you think that neither team should have been called for pass interference, which is what ended up actually happening. Nobody at this point thinks it was defensive PI, and nobody thinks it was pass interference on both. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Murph and I will talk about Dante Moore, Chambliss, and then we'll get into, we already talked about Carson Beck and Fernando Mendoza, but we will go back to the college football playoff, have a conversation, and then we'll jump into the NFL playoffs that were absolutely bonkers. And outside of the Jacksonville Jaguars, your boy had all the picks correct. Chicago came back from the dead to win their game at home.
How did Green Bay lose that game?
But Jacksonville, you couldn't just end the game. So we'll talk about
Would have been nice for me. I got two Trevor Lawrence autos that would have shot up in value.
What a crazy world. And Cam Little getting a second put back on there in the second quarter, and the guy doesn't miss, and the guy doesn't miss, and the guy doesn't miss, and what does he do? He misses. So we will discuss the NFL playoffs and Cam Little, number 1 and number 2 in NFL history in longest field goal after they didn't give it to him when he did it in the preseason. He said, all right, bet money, and then he did it in the regular season for 2. So he technically has the top 3 longest kicks in NFL history, but they don't want to give him the 70-yarder. He's got to take the 60-plus, but that's all right. Cam Little, do your thing, man. We'll talk about that playoff football, college, and pro right after this. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Stay with us. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry-loving friend. Right, Lily? And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Murph and I talking with you about playoff football collegiately and professionally, the college football playoff and the NFL wild card round so far. Let's go into Dante Moore and by the numbers. Keep in mind, folks, like I said, he is only a redshirt sophomore. He technically has 2 more years that he can play college football, and he can go to the NFL because he's been in college for 3 years, started at UCLA in 2023, and then transferred over to Oregon, was the backup to Dylan Gabriel before taking over this year. This year, by the numbers, 71.8% completion percentage, 3,565 yards, 30 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, and he has 2 rushing touchdowns. His only 2 of his collegiate career came this season, 73 carries for 100 256 yards. Speaking of Dante Moore, Trinidad Chambliss, if he is to go into the NFL draft and is not given another year of eligibility from the appeal that could be coming from Ole Miss to the NCAA, that means that he will be in the draft after being a 2-time national champion for Ferris State in NCAA Division II. And this season for Ole Miss, 66.1% completion percentage for Chambliss, and he had 3,937 yards, 22 touchdowns, 8 rushing touchdowns, so 30 touchdowns overall, 527 yards on the ground, which means that he had over 4,400 yards from scrimmage. But here's the big number for somebody who came through an easier schedule in the SEC, but still played in the SEC and in the college football playoff. 22 passing touchdowns. How many interceptions? One hand. 1, 2, 3. 3 interceptions in 12 games that they had inside of their regular season. Then you have Ole Miss play in the college football playoff. So when you go back and you look at Ole Miss's schedule this season, 22 passing touchdowns to a mere 3 interceptions the entire season in a team that played in 15 games. So in 15 games, 3 interceptions from Chambliss, who came from D2 to D1 this year, made the jump and was one step, one play out of playing for a national championship. How many quarterbacks have gone from one NCAA division to another NCAA division and been in a place to play for a national championship? He was one play away, 2-time national champion, almost had the opportunity to be a 3-time national champion and do it at 2 different levels. Chambliss, if he goes to the NFL, mark my words right now, write it down today. January 12th, 2025, it is 11 a.m. on the nose. If Chambliss does go to the NFL draft, he may be the second best one that we see come out of this draft. Put it on it right now. Him and Carson Beck are the 2 names that I'm looking at besides Fernando Mendoza. Mark my words, Chambliss in the NFL, just like he shocked you this year, he may shock you again.
Very well could be. It would not shock me one bit. And that's literally why I'm saying that the Jets should pick him in late round 2, early round 3. Or maybe if he starts to, move up draft boards. I mean, I don't know where he would fall right now if he does end up getting, declaring for the draft. But if it does seem like he's going to be mid to early round 2 and maybe a team's looking to sneak into round 1 to take him, you pick at the top of round 2.
Yeah.
Trade that pick to move up 2 or 3 spots to go get him at the end of round 1, get that extra option, make him get that extra option year and sit him for a year behind one of, Mariota or Mac Jones or Jimmy Garoppolo or a guy like that. But, so it's one of those things where I think he is a guy, along with Carson Beck and Drew Aller and even Garrett Nussmeier to a degree, who was going to be the number 1 pick coming into the year. Don't forget that, folks. That could very easily be picked in round 3 or round 2 and be a starter.
Yeah.
The amount of number 1 picks that have won Super Bowls, I don't know the exact number, but let's just think since 2000. I got 1 in Matthew Stafford. He was, I believe, Matthew's technically Eli Manning too. Forgot about Eli Manning. I don't think anybody else in that decade did it as a number 1 pick as a quarterback.
Eli Manning, who was drafted by
the Chargers.
And refused to play for them.
Correct. Yes, one of 2 guys ever to do that, along with the great John Elway. Those 2, and I'm just spitballing here, trying to remember guys from the 2010s who were drafted number 1 overall.
Yeah.
that who have won a Super Bowl, and I can't think of any in the 2010s. I can't. Nobody in the 2020s. I got 2 since 2000.
Yeah, if we look at this,
I don't know for sure if I'm right. Actually, here, let me do this.
Yeah, I got it. I got it right here. So we're gonna go 2000 to now. So
I just figured that was easy because it's
yeah.
what people will remember.
In 2000, defensive end Courtney Brown of Penn State was chosen. 2001, Michael Vick never won a Super Bowl. 2002, David Carr never won a Super Bowl.
Actually, that's not true. He did as a backup, but not as a starter.
What? Yeah, as a backup.
I think he was Eli's backup for one of their Super Bowls.
2003, Carson Palmer. 2004,
Never won.
Eli Manning, who won.
He did.
2005, Alex Smith, who did he win as a backup?
Oh
no, because it was Chad Henne, I think, in Kansas City. 2000,
no, he won. He won as a backup, I believe, to Colin Kaepernick in San Francisco. Oh wait, no, they didn't win.
No, they didn't make it.
Never mind, they didn't win.
2006, Mario Williams, who was a DN. 2007, Jamarcus Russell never won.
Nope.
2008, Jake Long. 2009, Matt Stafford did. 2010, Sam Bradford.
Nope.
2011, Cam Newton.
Nope.
2012, Andrew Luck. 2013, offensive tackle Eric Fisher. 2014, defensive end Jadeveon Clowney. 2015, Jameis Winston. 2016, nope. Jared Goff. 2017,
nope.
DN Myles Garrett. 2018, Baker Mayfield.
Nope.
2019, Kyler Murray. 2020, nope. Joe Burrow.
Closest, but nope.
2021, Trevor Lawrence. 2022, nope. Defensive end Trayvon Walker. 2023, Bryce Young. 2024, Caleb Williams. 2025, who has a chance this year. In 2025, Cam Ward.
2 since 2000, folks.
So Eli Manning and
can I also just make it known real quick that I think the best NFL comp for Fernando Mendoza is one of those two guys. Granted, he has more running ability than this guy does, and this other guy is in the playoffs. I think Fernando Mendoza's perfect NFL comp, minus the rushing ability because he can run, is Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
Not a super high ceiling. He's not going to be this superstar quarterback, but he's got a really high floor. He's a guy that I firmly believe, if the Raiders put the right pieces around him, can be a quality NFL starting quarterback for the next 15 years, easily. And Matthew Stafford has been just that. Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Matthew
Stafford's playing arguably. Matt Stafford's playing his arguably best football. Now it almost looks like he was a rookie for the Rams 3 years ago, won a Super Bowl, and has only played for the Rams. It's like people forget that he even played for the Lions and put up great numbers with the Lions. Matthew Stafford is arguably playing his best football in the here and now. So many.
He
years
almost
into
retired before this year. People are forgetting about that. And they are my pick to win. They're my Super Bowl pick. Sorry. They are my pick to win it all. They really are. And one of my good friends, Alex, who I was set up with at the card show over the weekend's a Panthers fan. We watched the end of the game, how heartbreaking it was when, that pass from Bryce Young was dropped on fourth down. But he's had the best year of his career. He very well might win the MVP. He very well could win his second Super Bowl, second championship. That's really hard to not say that.
Yeah.
And obviously I know why. We've had the conversation. It's really hard not to say it. But I'm going to try not to say it. But he very well could win his second ring this year.
Yeah.
He's been, and look, he's not playing otherworldly. He's doing what most good quarterbacks in his era were doing.
Right.
Pocket presence, making on-time throws, making the right reads. This is why I think Mendoza would benefit from sitting behind a good veteran.
Yeah.
which is why I think Jimmy Garoppolo should be going back to the Raiders as their starter for next year over Mendoza.
But that's
Jimmy Garoppolo is the perfect mentor
right. And
for
that's
Fernando
but
Mendoza.
unfortunately, it's typically what doesn't happen, right? If you
Correct.
if you come off of the best team in college football, you may go to the worst team in professional football. And that,
Look what happened. Look what happened to Trevor Lawrence.
right. I mean, Trevor
The Jaguars
Lawrence
team was awful.
Trevor Lawrence didn't go to the worst team in the NFL one year. They had the number 1 pick 2 years in a row. They were the worst team in the NFL 2 years in a row. That man has had multiple head coaches,
They
multiple
really
offensive
fumbled
coordinators,
that.
multiple
They fumbled that
offensive linemen.
2022 pick.
Yeah, I mean the Jacksonville Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence have gone through hell, and now people are, oh, Trevor Lawrence, I think he's good now, and I can't.
He was always good,
Right.
folks. His team sucked.
Right, I can't. High ankle sprain, shoulder injury, offensive line that never stayed healthy, offensive line that was going through guys, going to third string guys, offensive line that was changing every single year, coaches that were changing year to year, head coach, offensive coordinator, so on and so forth, a change in general manager. This Jacksonville Jaguars team has been consistently inconsistent in the people that have been in the building. So none of that is Trevor Lawrence. Injury, not Trevor Lawrence. Offensive line, not Trevor Lawrence. Head coach, not Trevor Lawrence. Assistant coaches, coordinators, not Trevor Lawrence. Front office, not Trevor Lawrence. So the fact that people keep asking me if he's done, if he's washed up, maybe Trevor Lawrence, like, what did they say? Oh, this year he's good. Like, what? Trevor
He had the best year of his career, statistically, yes.
Trevor Lawrence.
But he was always good.
Right. Trevor Lawrence may go down as the best quarterback to ever play in Jacksonville. Above Mark Brunell.
I think he already
Right.
is.
Above Mark Brunell. Above Blake Bortles, who people forget was second to Brunell when Bortles left the Jaguars. So, above Byron Leftwich.
Almost brought them to a Super Bowl.
Above David Garrard. Yeah. 4 points and 6:06 left to go in the game at Foxborough. I was there in the press box. Like, Trevor Lawrence is a massive, massive asset. And I am so over people talking about Trevor like he just woke up in November of 2025 and became a good quarterback. This guy lost like 2 or 3 games from high school to college ever. He knows what it takes to win a championship. He knows what it takes to win in high school. He knows what it takes to win a national championship in college. He played for multiple national championships in college. And then he goes on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he has nothing but inconsistency, nothing but a wild goose chase of ridiculousness in Jacksonville. And then you see what he does with a coach that coaches well, with a team that does a good job, with an offense that comes together, with a team in Jacksonville that for the first time in maybe forever during the season was making moves to get better, during the season went and got Jacoby Myers, during the season flipped corners with the Cleveland Browns. They were making moves in this season to say, we want to win and we want to do it right now. I don't know if I've ever seen Jacksonville during a season go and get better. Say, we're good, but we can be better. Let's go be better. I have not seen them do that. Maybe ever. You bring in Jacoby Myers, that is arguably one of the best, if not the best, or top 5 possession receivers in the NFL. You bring him in, you got sure hands most of the time, on top of Brian Thomas Jr. Then Parker Washington, who had been with the team, he steps his game up. Travis Etienne Jr. does his thing. LaQuinn Allen Jr. out of Syracuse was extremely valuable to them. And when they needed a first down, when they needed a possession guy, when they needed a check down, they went to rookie LaQuinn Allen Jr.
Who was the running back they traded away?
And then
that was
Bajal
taking
too,
touches
and
away
Tank
from
Bigsby.
Etienne?
So they,
Tank Bigsby, that's right.
And then you have Bajal.
Thank you. By the way, thank you to the Jaguars for doing that and making Travis Etienne your one true number 1 running back, because I won a fantasy championship because of it.
And then
thank you very much.
Then you use Bajal Tootin. I mean, this is a
good,
team.
Productive.
Right.
When did they pick him? Like round 4, round 5?
Yeah, they got him later out of Virginia Tech. But then you go and you have your defense with Foye Oluokun and Trayvon Walker and you make some good moves there. This Jaguars team was never Trevor Lawrence's fault. So stop talking about it. And again, narratives. People can't let go.
But they finally have a coach.
Right. They have a coach
that can channel all of Trevor Lawrence's talent.
They have a coach that helped
and
them
make
put it
them
all
win
together,
a game.
and now here they are, and they listen. And that interception,
they will be back.
Right. And
Trust me, they will be back. It was not his fault.
It bounces off of a receiver's arm into the hands of the Buffalo Bills. It wasn't a straight up interception thrown by Trevor Lawrence. So let's remember that too. Let's go to the NFL playoffs. So we already talked about Jacksonville. They lost the game. It was a close one. Again, like I told y'all, I have gotten every wild card game right this season except for that Jaguars game. I picked the Rams. I wanted the Panthers to win this game.
Who'd you pick tonight?
I picked.
I don't think I got to see the show on Thursday.
This was probably my toughest pick next to Jacksonville Buffalo. Because I said that Aaron Rodgers would make it to the playoffs in his first season with the Steelers. And it's in Pittsburgh. But I don't want to be in front of Houston right now. They've won 9 in a row. And Houston's just got a gritty way of gutting it out. So I picked Houston to win this game on the road. But I went with the Rams. I went with the Bears, who saved that one for me. I went with the Niners because I told people I don't think Philadelphia is that good this year. And I went with the Patriots.
Thank you, 49ers, for beating the Eagles.
Cam,
I'm sorry if you're watching my sales rep, my boss. I'm sorry. But thank you, 49ers, for beating the Eagles. Now I don't have to listen to Eagles fans just being obnoxious for another 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, you got to think about it. Like, I went with the road team with the Rams. I went with the road team with the Niners. I'm going with the road team with the Texans. So half of the games in the wild card, I went road. I've been right with 2 of them. We'll see what happens tonight. But, Murph, your thoughts on the fact that the Rams went through a seesaw with the Panthers. Panthers got a home game because they're a divisional winner. They're 8-9. The Rams won more than 10 games. They had to come on the road to play in this matchup. They had won 12 games in the regular season. The Bears looked like they were dead in the second half. And here I am. I'm like, I can't watch this game. They were down 21-6 going into the fourth quarter. They outscored the Packers 25-6. In the fourth quarter, 25 points scored in 15 minutes of play, but less than that because they didn't have the ball for the whole 15 minutes. So 25 points in less than 15 minutes. They win the game. Third game against the Packers this year because they are divisional foes. The Bills came back and beat the Jaguars. That was another seesaw game. The Niners outlasted the Eagles 23-19. And the Patriots and the Chargers, neither team got to 20 points themselves, and combined they didn't get to 20 points. 19 points scored in the last game last night on Sunday night, 16-13 Patriots over Chargers. So these games were fun. They were exciting. It was one possession for Rams Panthers, one possession for Bears Packers, one possession for Bills Jaguars, one possession for Niners Eagles. Your thoughts?
I think they were all great games outside of the night game last night. That one was kind of a neither team played particularly well. The defenses played really well, but Drake May didn't look all that great. Justin Herbert really didn't look good.
Yeah.
Glad I got rid of all my Justin Herbert stuff. But yeah, I think the Bears, the resiliency of Caleb Williams and that defense and that team was evident. The Packers seemingly struggle when they have the lead, especially this year. They've blown, I think, 6 leads in the final minutes of games this year. 2 of them were to the Bears. So it's the Packers did it to themselves, man. I mean, it wasn't Jordan Love's fault. Jordan Love played great, but that defense couldn't stop us from scoring a touchdown at the end of that game. I mean, Jordan Love finished with, 323 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It was not on him. That is for sure. And then, he had some incompletions at stalled drives in the second half, but he did what needed to be done to win the football game, and the defense didn't bail him out. Matthew Stafford did his thing. Puka Nacua had another coming out party. Dude's a freaking stud. They are.
And he like dropped 1 or 2 passes. So like he could have had
He
a better
did.
game. So
100%. And then we talked about Bills Jags. Unfortunate end of that one with Trevor Lawrence throwing a pick on a ball that was tipped. Not exactly all on him. I didn't see the interception earlier in the game.
yeah,
But the Bills defense was good, man. They they held Jacksonville to, they didn't put up a lot of offensive yards. Like they couldn't run the ball at all. They had a couple different guys break off runs, but ETN was held under 70. Trevor Lawrence had a couple of carries, but it's 150 yards, 154 yards technically on the ground, but a couple of them were big plays early in the game. Other than that, they really didn't do much. So the Bills' rushing defense played well, and then you come to the night, to the 4:00 game with the Niners and the Eagles. I was thrilled when I saw the Niners end up winning that game. Brock Purdy played good, not great. Christian McCaffrey did most of his damage through the air, not on the ground. And you saw Jawan Jennings throw an absolute.
we'll see if we can.
Oh, how much did you miss?
You said Juwan threw a dime.
Oh, okay. Jawan Jennings threw a dime of a touchdown pass to Christian McCaffrey, former college quarterback as well. But Dallas Goedert had a touchdown on a tush push. I just want to say something about a tush push real quick. How in the world do you get 10 yards on a tush push?
Yeah.
How do you allow the Bills to get 10 yards?
Josh Allen, baby.
10 yards on a tush push.
Craziness.
How?
It happens.
I was watching this thing happen, and I'm like, how is he not down on the ground? And I was rooting hard for Jacksonville. Number one, because Buffalo's in my division. I don't want them to win. Number two, I got some Trevor Lawrence cards that I want to go up when they win. So I'm rooting for Jacksonville. Yeah. They do that, and originally they ruled it a touchdown. He was down short, and then they did another tush push, and he was in. But I'm like, how in the hell do you get 10 yards on a tush push? Because if they just get the first down, there's no guarantee they're scoring. They get it all the way down to the 1 on the tush push, and they score on the very next play.
Yeah.
Granted, Jacksonville had more than enough time to go down the field and win it.
Who are the teams that
voted?
timeouts,
but
when Green Bay brought up the fact that they wanted to get rid of
the Bills
tush push,
voted to outlaw it.
I think the Bills voted to keep it.
No, they voted to outlaw it.
No, I think they were on the list that voted it, them and the Jaguars. There was a bunch of teams that voted to keep it because I was like, okay, Josh Allen makes sense. Baltimore voted to keep it. There were teams that voted to keep it in. Jacksonville was one of those teams because Trevor Lawrence is long and he can do it, but Josh Allen is almost unstoppable. It seems like Philly.
No, the Bills were for the ban.
Yeah, they were for
the teams
it?
against it. The teams against it were the Eagles, Ravens, Browns, Lions, Jags, Dolphins, Patriots, Saints, Jets, and Titans.
That were against getting rid of it.
That were against getting rid of it.
I don't know why the Bills.
The Bills were on the team. The Bills voted against it. The Bills voted to get rid of it.
I think that's crazy to me because you have Josh Allen, but it worked. It worked for them.
Yeah.
Kudos to them on it. They made it happen. Murph, let's get into cards really quick because I know we got to get hopping here. So I got some cards to show.
Let me go grab them real quick.
So
go ahead and show yours.
We'll take a quick step aside. We'll be back right after this inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studio. Stay with us.
Avicoli's Restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicoli's.com. That's myAVICOLLIS.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013 and go to k9campground.com as well. That's K9, ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We are inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios, and it is time for Murph and I to unveil our newest edition of Sports Card Show and Tell, proudly presented by GG Cards and Breaks. GG Cards and Breaks is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, Sundays from 10 to 5, and next week, right after the college football playoff on January 22nd, we will be back at the Wildcat. The first trade night of 2026 will be Thursday, January 22nd. GG Cards and Breaks heads to the Wildcat, two partners I've had for multiple years, as we all converge on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. Great food, great drinks, great atmosphere. We have
great food and great drinks for sure.
And we have the entire room to ourselves. We look forward to seeing you Thursday, January 22nd, 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. GG Cards and Breaks trade night. And for the first time ever, that guy is going to be with me. We will be on the stage with our cards ready for you. Buy, sell, and trade Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, One Piece, Disney Lorcana, hockey, soccer, baseball, basketball, football, wrestling, and more, all at GG Cards and Breaks trade night, Thursday, January 22nd, 6 to 9:30 at the Wildcat on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus in the Home Depot Plaza. We look forward to seeing you there.
I am looking forward to seeing you all there too. I sold the Ovechkin auto that I showed you a couple of weeks ago is no longer in my possession.
Okay.
I sold it over the weekend, so I have a lot of cards and liquid cash at the moment. So I will be there buying, selling, and trading. Mostly kind of trying to buy. But buying, selling, and trading all night long. We'll be up there. We'll have a great time. Is it set up the way it was at GG at the show or at the shop with like having a case, or am I just bringing my card case in and putting it on the table and doing it that way?
It's first come, first serve. So you come in, find a table, and you can set it up however you want. People set up boxes, they set up briefcases, they set up showcases, however you want to do it. But we got to get there early because people literally...
Oh, we'll get there early. I know we will.
People set up early, so we got to get there.
How early are you thinking? 5 or earlier?
It starts at 6, so I'd say probably safely if we get there at 5.
Okay.
And
But
by
I'm,
the way,
I'm looking forward to it.
shout
Yeah.
out to the Central New York Central Upstate New York card community and everybody that travels in as well. You have made GG Cards and Breaks trade nights absolutely incredible. It has been amazing. They're so big that they can't fit them in the store anymore. We're at the Wildcat pretty much every other month, and it has been insane how you've shown up. Go on my social media. You can see the pictures, you can see the videos. The fact that you have to get there an hour before just to make sure you have a good place to set up speaks volumes to this. It is amazing. The food is great, the atmosphere is great, and there's like
Great wings.
there's almost
Great
nowhere
wings.
to move at times. So just make sure you get out there, set up early with us, and let's go have some fun. Thursday, January 22nd, 6 to 9:30 p.m. The Wildcat will have GG Cards and Breaks trade night on site, on location, in the party room that has the stage. We look forward to seeing you there. I like getting there early just so I can put my food order in because I know there's so many people.
Oh
gonna
yeah,
be there.
that's true.
So I want to get my food order. I want
Are
my
there
food to
are
be,
there any games on that night?
I want my.
Is
food
there
to
any
be
like
out.
good basketball games or anything on that night?
There may be on January 20th.
Oh,
and we'll have the big TV behind us, and
Yeah.
we'll have other stuff going on too.
Also, folks, if anybody is, since I will be there, Dan will be covering the Syracuse Virginia Tech game next Wednesday night. If there's any of you that are interested in going, reach out to Dan or myself on social media. I'd love to have some company when I'm at the game because I'll be up in the stands somewhere, probably enjoying an adult beverage or two, and getting to watch a good basketball game. I know Virginia Tech's a pretty good team, and Syracuse has had a decent start to the year. They've been maybe not up to their standards, but played reasonably solid. I've seen some of your reporting on it, so I'm interested. I'm excited to get to see them play, and I'd love some company. So if anybody would like to come with me, you are more than welcome to, and I'll meet you at the game, and we'll have ourselves a good time. But I'm definitely looking forward to being in the area for sure. I know. Are we gonna have time to go to Myers Creek? I don't know.
Well, we can find time.
Yeah, it's true.
We
We gotta get food from that Chinese spot by your place again.
Yeah, I know.
That place
so
that
good.
place was so good.
It is so good. And I haven't had Chinese food in a while, so that would be good. But yes, so Murph will be with us next week. He'll be with us Wednesday, Thursday, and then heading back out Friday morning. So we'll see you at trade night for that. Show your cards. I have something
Okay.
that ties in everything we're talking about. We have the college football playoff, the NFL draft, the NFL playoffs, all this stuff we've discussed today. And I opened an all-new box of Bowman U from GG Cards and Breaks and got a ton of cards.
Oh, I'll let you show me because there's a guy that I'm hoping maybe you hit a card or two of our guy here. Nothing crazy. I'm not gonna show you everything, but I have some cool new stuff. I bought a big lot yesterday. We were talking about him earlier and his team earlier. We might have to raise the brightness on the screen so you guys can see it. But this is a Phoenix Ashton Genty RPA we got here, numbered to 199. This is an interesting card. It hasn't sold directly in about 2 years. It is a 2023 Topps Platinum or Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary Speckle Refractor of Aaron Judge. Surprised this actually didn't move on over the weekend. Maybe I'll move it in Old Bridge. Yeah. We got a Blue Sparkle number to 96 Prism of Bijan Robinson. That's a PSA 10. That's nice. You might like this one. It is an 2024 Uptowns of one of your guys, Brian Thomas Jr. from your Jags.
Yes, sir.
We got a rookie auto from 2021 Absolute of Micah Parsons, formerly of the Dallas Cowboys. We got a red and green optic refractor of Joe Burrow in a PSA 10. We've got the very same one from 2024 of Drake May. That's gone up a little bit since last night.
Yeah.
We've got, I don't remember if I showed this or not. I don't think I did. Certified number to 10, second year, mirror purple, Josh Allen.
Oh, that's nice.
That's kind of a cool one. We also have another Josh Allen. This is the select Dragon Scale Prism of Josh Allen from 2022.
I like that.
We have a rookie from the 50th anniversary of the NBA in a BGS 8.5 of the late great Kobe Bryant.
Very nice.
That was a cool one. This is cool partly because of the card that comes next, the card that comes last. This is from Hobby Masters and Topps Hobby Masters in 1997. This is of Derek Jeter. This is just a cool card to sit next to the one I'm about to show you. This is a BGS 1010 Pop 1. There is no other in the world. I am holding the only one in the world that is graded a BGS 1010.
Okay.
It is a from 2000 Topps HD auto of the captain Derek Jeter.
Jeter.
This is a big card. So if there's anybody interested in this at trade night, feel free to let me know. I'm open to offers on it. But I'll definitely be buying, selling, and trading all night long. I'm really looking forward to it. I was kind of trying to. I like to kind of plan our trips around, some kind of trade night or something like that because, I love interacting with the community in upstate and central New York, and I think there's a great community that you have out there doing cards and stuff. So, it's always great to come up and see you and spend some time at the shop, get to see all the different businesses that you work with and all the people that, I've done deals with in the past that I will continue to do deals with even when I'm at home. And it's always fun. Obviously, may not get to a show up there for Collectors Fest or anything at any point this year, but we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. But really, I've wanted to get up for a Wildcat trade night for a while, and I'm glad I can finally make it up for one.
Yeah, no, they're amazing, and I would suggest that everybody get yourself out there. Make sure it is first come, first serve. Thursday, January 22nd, 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the Wildcat GG Cards and Breaks Trade Night. We look forward to seeing you out there on site, on location. Do not miss the opportunity to get yourself out there. And speaking of trade night, my guy Curtis Tillman III, I got these from him when the price was really low, and it's only gone up. Not one, not two, but 3 autographs of Parker Washington of my Jaguars, and they're all his rookie cards.
Nice.
So we have I have 2 different ones here. This one is 89 of 99 rated rookie. This is an auto rated rookie of 99. That is the blue of Parker Washington, and these are also see-through.
Okay. Oh, it's from Clearly.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so I have the same card with the green, and this is numbered to 25, 15 of 25.
That's a nice one with the color match and everything.
And his autograph is really, really clean.
If you were going to, I don't know, obviously I haven't seen the third one yet, but if you were going to sell any of them and keep one specifically, that's the one I'd keep.
Well,
the color match.
Then there's this one. This is 49 of 199. This is a dual patch Obsidian refractor auto rookie of Parker, thick card of Parker Washington as well. So
the green Clearly one I think is my favorite of those 3. If like I said, if you were going to sell any of them and keep one, I'd keep the green Clearly.
Yeah.
So for the color match.
So Parker Washington, by the way, really beautiful autograph. Now, here's what I opened from Bowman U, and I'm going to be doing a ton of box breaks here in January that are exclusively brought to you by GG Cards and Breaks on Wake Up Call, so make sure you stay tuned for those. But these are the ones that I got in my box break I did off the air of Bowman U. Kansas State quarterback Avery Johnson, Acropolis insert. We have Texas A&M's first ever card made of Casey Concepcion. A lot of people know him. We have the green wave refractor of Malik Rutherford, Bowman first of the Georgia Tech wide receiver. We have Jadarian Price of Notre Dame's first card ever made. We have one of the best tight ends in the country, Eli Stowers, Vanderbilt, first card ever made. We have Katron Allen's Glory of Penn State insert. We have the green wave refractor of Chase Sowell of Iowa State, their wide receiver. We have the Bowman first of Miller Moss, who will be heading to the NFL draft as well, trying to make his hay. We have the refractor purple parallel from Eli Bowen of Oklahoma, Bowman first. We have the insert of Miller Moss. We have the Malik Muhammad wave refractor green parallel Bowman first of the Texas.
That's a nice one.
Of the Texas corner. We have the Baron Morton first card ever printed of the Texas Tech quarterback. We have a guy that I interviewed, his first ever card made, Mateo Uiagalelei of Oregon, their linebacker.
Any relation to DJ?
That was funny. It was something that I was thinking about, and I'm like, I don't 100% know that. And then we have
Not exactly a common name.
John Mateer, insert quarterback of Oklahoma. We have a Jarek Gibson, running back, Texas, green wave refractor of his first card ever made. We have Mr. DJ or OJ Frederic Jr., corner of Miami, his first card ever made. Quinn Travion Wisner of Texas, his insert. And this is by far, arguably, it might be the sickest card I've ever pulled from a box break. This card is insane. It is a Bowman first color match of a gentleman who is on the number one team in America in college football, playing for a national championship. The black out of 10 is a card that was worth hundreds. This is the color match out of 5. 2 out of 5 in the world. His autograph plus a special message underneath his autograph. Number 5 in the world. Bowman first, color match, Indiana Hoosier, refractor of D'Angelo mother freaking Pons that has his autograph and has his writing that says first team all Big Ten.
Dude, that is so sick. You were getting my hopes. You were getting my hopes up that it was Mendoza, but I also think you would have called me if it was Mendoza.
Well, and here's
you would have called me freaking out if it was Mendoza.
So here's the thing. This card was at least a $300 card before he picked off Dante Moore on the first play of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl to take it to the house.
That's number to 5?
It is number.
That's the red number to 5?
It is red color match refractor number to 5 with not only his autograph but a message underneath his autograph. D'Angelo Pons.
Honestly, that's an eBay card.
Yeah, and he's been.
I don't know how long you. I don't know if you have any intention
show,
of selling it anytime soon.
He was just on the show.
I don't know if you have any intention of selling it anytime soon. If I was you, I would, just because of the recency bias.
Yeah.
Because, in 6 months, maybe not the red, but you can probably buy one back for a lot less than you sell that one for. I mean, remember when I told you about J.J. McCarthy?
Yeah.
Have you bought a new one since?
No.
Okay. So at some point, you'll buy a new one for probably less than half of what you sold the other one for.
Yeah, I sold the other one for almost 200. Well, I had 2 JJs. One went for like 110 and one went for over 100 as well. But here's the crazy thing. When I opened this right after Christmas, just like before I went to bed, it was like 11 o'clock at night. Lily's in bed and I'm just sitting in bed opening up this box of Bowman U from GG Cards and Breaks. This was before I knew D'Angelo Pons. This was before D'Angelo Pons came on my show. And I remember looking at the card and going, oh, that's interesting. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, there's writing underneath his autograph. And then I was like, oh, it's numbered to 5. And then I was like, oh, it's a color match and it's a refractor. And then we looked up the 1 to 10 that Josh looked up because I sent it to Josh at night. And so
how do you spell his name?
It's D''Angelo and then Pons like the water. So this card was valued at probably a little over $300 before the Chick-fil-A.
Why can't I find it? Hold on.
So yeah.
D''Angelo or 2 L's.
No, ANGELO and then PONDS.
Why is it not
And it
coming
says
up on card
it
ladder?
says Bowman Chrome Prospect Autograph Variation from the 2025 Bowman University Chrome Football. I've never
What the heck?
I've never pulled an autograph where there was a message underneath it where he wrote that he was first team All Big Ten.
I gotta find this now because it won't let me search it on card ladder.
Yeah, it's crazy. Josh found the black to 10, but he didn't find the red to 5.
Because I'm curious.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of my biggest gets, and I'm sure that I can sell this for a good amount of money.
This is going to be really interesting to you because yours is going to be worth more. There is a sapphire version of that same card,
Yeah.
without the inscription, that is currently in bids on eBay. It is at $290, numbered to 5, out of Bowman Chrome Sapphire. With 8 hours left, it is at $290 currently.
Mm-hmm.
I figure that'll probably sell for $350-ish.
Oh.
Somebody has a red shimmer listed with the inscription for $500. I think you're probably gonna get, because that's the true red, right? That's not the shimmer.
No, that's true red.
So you'd get a little more than that.
Yeah.
Why won't card ladder?
Yeah, it was like a couple weeks ago. I had it at like 3 something, and now, it'd be great to get
here we
5
go.
for it.
Yeah, the out of 10 did $250 with the inscription. That was black shimmer.
Right.
Another black shimmer did $220 in November. I would think so. If that sapphire does, I'm gonna say, let's say it does $350.
Yeah.
The regular Bowman Chrome is gonna be worth more. So you're maybe $375 to $400 for the red shimmer. Yours is probably worth somewhere between $400 and $500 is my guess.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Yeah, that's where I would have it
And
right now.
to me, if I was you, I would move it. I would put it on eBay. This is how I would do it. I would put it on eBay for $750, your best offer. See what the sapphire sells for. See if somebody buys the red shimmer.
Yeah.
And hopefully the guys that lose out on that, assuming they win next week, you can probably get at least 5 or more on eBay.
Yeah. Let me tell you like this.
You'll
if you're not
20x the box.
If you're not going to pay, if you're not going to pay to go to the game, you can afford to buy at least
That
this
is true.
card from D'Angelo Bonds.
So that would be my recommendation for you, would be to try to move it between because I firmly believe they're going to win. So I don't think that'll affect the value of the card at all.
No.
So, and it is an eBay card. There are certain cards that if you live in certain places, it is an eBay card. It is going to be really difficult to move it where you are.
Yeah, I think
really
people at
difficult to move it
trade
where
night
I am.
are going to think it's cool, but I don't,
Correct.
I don't know
I agree.
if there's an Indiana fan that's going to be like, I'll give you 500 straight up right now.
Correct. I think it's going to be hard for you to find a buyer where you are, where I am. That's why I think it's an eBay card. So, it'll go. I would list it, somewhere between 600 and 700, maybe 6. Maybe you do like 650 or 700. Buy it now or best offer. Be willing to let it send you offers over 400. But we also got to see what the sapphire does. If the sapphire does 400, then we're going up.
Yeah.
If the sapphire does, even if the sapphire only does 300, it's worth at least that, if not more. Well, it's worth at least that, definitely more, because the true red is going to be worth more than the sapphire. So true red color match, you're probably looking, like I said, I think it's between a $400 and $500 card is my guess. So you definitely hit a good one. That's for out of a blaster, right?
No, it was
Or was it a mega box?
it was a mega box.
Okay, how much is a mega box? Like $70?
No, it was less than that.
50?
What did I pay for it? I don't know. I want to say I paid like 60 something.
Okay. So you're going to be coming pretty close to 9xing your money, essentially, out of that one card.
Yeah.
And, you sell this one. Maybe it pops back up on eBay in 6-8 months.
I want to take a picture of it.
$150 and you buy it.
I want to tag D'Angelo Pons and be like, my dog, thanks for signing this card this way.
You should. Honestly, dude, you should.
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean, it's crazy that I got it.
It's sick.
It's crazy that I got the card and then I interviewed him after and then I covered the game with him and then I interviewed him after.
If you interview him at the national championship, like if you get a one-on-one with him at the national championship, you should have a picture of it and just show it to him.
Well,
and it's like, I opened a box of cards and I hit this, which is pretty darn cool.
It's crazy because it's like I opened the box after Christmas. I got that D'Angelo Pons. Then we did interviews going into the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. I interviewed D'Angelo Pons. Then I went and covered the game down in Atlanta. And then at the end of the game, in the press conference room, I interviewed head coach Curt Cignetti of Indiana, Fernando Mendoza, and D'Angelo Pons. So it's like I got the card before I talked to the guy, and now he's been on the show multiple times.
Yeah, that's if you get a one-on-one with him, I think you got to bring it up to him. I think that'd be pretty darn cool.
I would be like, I'll ask you to sign it, but you already did.
Yeah. But yeah, like I think that's a sick one. Like everybody has like some really cool cards that they've hit out of breaks. Like for me, like obviously I've hit in breaks, I've hit multiple Wyatt Langford autos. I hit a couple of decent Mets autos in the past. But the biggest card I ever hit was that Adley Rutschman out of Topps Chrome in 2023.
Yeah.
I hit a gold shimmer auto out of 50. And like I was, doing the slow roll, like I, peel the cards and I see the gold shimmer. I'm like, ooh, like this is big. And then I look, I'm like, ooh, this is an auto. And then I see the rookie card emblem. And then I'm like, I pull it slowly and I'm like, holy crap. Adley freaking Rutschman, this is a huge card.
Yeah.
Obviously it took me too long to sell it. I ended up getting, I think, like 12 in trade or something like that. But, in terms of rarity of the card and significance of the card, that's a better card. The Rutschman might have been worth more, but that, to me, is the better pull. How often are you going to hit an auto out of 5 of the guy who just hit the pick 6 in the Peach Bowl to essentially end the game? That was it.
Yeah.
Oregon wasn't winning after that. And a guy who's very possibly going to win a national championship, who you've interviewed multiple times, who you will probably interview again after they win the national championship.
I might interview.
So
he's probably going to be out there on media day too. So.
Exactly. So like that, I think the significance of the card is better. And like I've never hit an out of 5 auto. I mean, out of 50 is the best one I've ever hit. Like I've hit some out of 25s and I've hit an out of 10 non-auto. I've never hit an out of 5. And to hit it out of a mega box of all things,
and to have him,
like I hit my Rutschman out of a hobby box.
Right.
That cost me a lot of money.
But to have him sign it and then put a special message underneath it.
The inscription's sick. Like yeah. I love that. It looked like he did it on some of the shimmers too, the out of 10s. He didn't do it on the Sapphire. So immediately yours will be worth more, regardless of what Sapphire sells for, simply because of the inscription.
It's funny.
And if the black did 250, you're probably gonna figure. I honestly think the Sapphire is gonna do between 320 and 350. Is my guess.
It's funny though, because when you look at his autograph though, it looks like DG.
It does. It's kind of a rough auto though. Yeah. To be honest, if I'm being totally honest.
DG first team All Big Ten. It's just crazy, and the way that he wrote it, that he wrote B10 like that.
Yeah.
The whole thing is just, but it is. It's like I got the card. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I don't know him. And then like a few days later, I'm like, hi, D'Angelo. So it's just a very strange.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's cool. But yeah, like I think that card is sick, man. Like that's. I really hope that the Sapphire one does really well, and well, because here's the other thing too. Like, even if like I don't know if you're gonna find another one with the inscription unless you're buying the out of 10, but like you're gonna you can easily get another one of his autos at a reasonable price. Like you sell the big one and then you get get yourself a cheaper one that you can keep, and maybe you keep that one as a maybe you don't have the actual card anymore, but you have the memory like, hey, I hit an out of 5 auto of the same card of this guy and it's sick.
I feel like if I get the chance, I'm gonna go up to Mendoza and be like, hey, not nothing, but like, why aren't your cards as cool as D'Angelo? But because, by the way, for those of you that don't know, I was in the room when he said this. Fernando Mendoza and D'Angelo Pons both went to high school down in Florida in that area, in the Miami area. And Fernando told people, he goes, D'Angelo picked me off in a high school game.
I can't say I'm surprised.
That's
no, but the story behind that one's just going to be more like your story is way better than mine. It really, because like you hit it out of a mega box. It's different if you hit it out of a hobby box that you're paying like $200-300 for. Like mine, like I paid $350 for the Topps Chrome hobby box that I bought. For the jumbo box that I bought that I hit the Rutschman. You paid like $60 for the mega box. You did way better than I did based off what you paid for the boxes, and you hit an out of 5. That is just and the great thing is, it's not like you hit a no name.
Yeah,
you hit a good name,
right,
on a great team.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I saw Indiana, I was like, all right, good, because they got a chance to win the national championship.
Oh man!
But
Can you imagine if it was Mendoza?
I got the
Let's
starting.
see if there are any.
Like I got the starting corner of the #1 team in America playing for the national championship to 5. So, and whenever I get those mega boxes, I'm always hoping. I'm like, come on, I just want to get it out. And I think it was like the second or third pack I opened, and I was like, holy crap. So, and I got a lot of good. I mean, you look, this is the stack. Oh, here we go. Well, there's more, but some of them did not. Here we go. So this is the stack of cards. And again, when you get Bowman U, basketball and football, so here's the stack. When you get Bowman U, basketball or football, you get a stack of cards. I'll get cards 2 years in advance that are the first card ever made of that player, and they'll sit in the box. And then I'll go, you know what? College football season's going on now. College basketball season's going on. Let me go see who I got. And when I went through my box that I had and forgot about, I went through it and I'm like, oh, Jackson Dart. And I'm going through it and I'm picking out these guys that are now starters that are now going to the NFL draft. And I sold my Jackson Darts that I had for however many months or a year. So, I showed y'all a bunch of these, but
before their NFL cards come out.
Right. So I have
once the NFL cards come out, these will go down. But
but that's why I bring these out, and that's why these will be at trade night. I have a ton of Bowman firsts, so there could be a guy in here like a Jackson Dart that people don't know, and I sat on that for a year, and then when you start talking about Jackson Dart and Ole Miss's season and whatnot, what did I do? I took his cards, I put them in my case. A kid walked up to my case and he goes, I want that card. And then, I think my other one went too. I had 2. But these were cards that you get in Bowman. It's the first one made. One of them was the insert that looks like burnt paper from like an old Western. And so that was the first one that I saw.
Oh, I forget what they called that one.
But yeah, there's a stack of these cards right now, and I showed you the ones of Casey Concepcion and Jadarian Price and Eli Stowers, of guys that like in Miller Moss that but there could Baron Morton, Uyagalele, John Mateer, but there could be guys that are sitting in here that I could bring out to trade night and somebody could be like, holy crap, you got such and such, you got this, you got that. So you never know in these boxes, but the great thing about them is these Bowman does the first ever card of that player. So when somebody, so there's value in the college football season, there's value in who's been in the college football playoff, there's value in between the college football playoff and the NFL draft, and there's value when that person's favorite team drafts that player. So between now and the end of the NFL draft, I got an opportunity to move a ton of these cards, which is why I'm happy I got them.
Do you want to know how much the Mendoza out of 5 sells for?
Does it have an inscription?
There's been two sales.
Does it have an inscription?
Of that? No.
Rude. Rude.
There's a sapphire one and a red shimmer that I've sold.
Okay.
The sapphire was older, which is why I'm surprised that the one went for as low as it did. The sapphire one, where did it go? There we go. Actually, the true red has sold. Oh, no, that was red shimmer. Never mind. That was in November. The sapphire sold for... Actually, I'm not even going to worry about it. The most recent sale of an out of 5 first Bowman auto of Fernando Mendoza. $2,800.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if that was Fernando Mendoza that you hit?
Well, I still could.
You still could. You absolutely still could. I guarantee you, they're still
Yeah.
out. They're still out there.
About to text Josh and go, hey, don't you dare let all them boxes go. You put one to the side. But like he had just put them out. And folks, I cannot state this enough. If you live in central and upstate New York, or if you're traveling into town, GG Cards and Breaks, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Right off of Teal Ave, right by the best bakery in all of America, Lincourt Bakery. Get yourself over to GG Cards and Breaks. They're open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, Sundays from 10 to 5. I cannot tell you how many packs and boxes I have opened from GG Cards and Breaks and pulled incredible cards. I pulled a patch card of, I think it was out of 10 or 15, of Myles Garrett that had the words pound from the dog pound patch on the card, and it was autographed and it was numbered. I pulled a 2 of 5 for a rookie tight end of the Houston Texans that has almost the entire Texan logo from the shoulder. That's an autograph. I think Cade Stover's. So, I mean, I pulled a J.J. McCarthy RPA out of there. There was the purple color match. I have gotten so many amazing things from GG Cards and Breaks that I will tell you this right now. Get there early, and see what they have in their inventory and buy it up, folks, because this is from their shelf. Okay? This is from a mega box on their shelf. And if you want to know how many great cards I pulled, go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and go to our card break playlist and watch. It's been insane what we've gotten. This card, I pulled it from Pete Green, the owner of Mother's Cupboard. I pulled this from his box, and then we traded each other for this 1-of-1 rookie refractor of Brian Thomas Jr. This card was at least $300 before they had this entire season and before they made the playoffs. So, I mean, the stuff that I have gotten, I got the only downtown I've ever pulled in my life was from a $40 tin at GG Cards and Breaks.
I know.
So, and at the time that I pulled that downtown, it was a $1,000 card. So I cannot state enough that GG Cards and Breaks is not only a fantastic place led by fantastic people where you can be a big kid all the time. I have hit so many times on greatness from their packs and boxes that I would implore you to get there right this week. They're closed on Mondays. So you have today to clean your sneakers, to wax them, to rub them, scuff them, do whatever you got to do to be ready that make sure your tread is good so that you can take off running Tuesday morning at GG Cards and Breaks.
Yeah. And folks, it's a fun shop to be in, owned by, run by great people. So, I've spent plenty of money there. You've spent plenty of money there, and we have a great time when we're there. And, we definitely obviously enjoyed it. So, I'm looking forward to getting up there again. I'm looking forward to seeing the guys. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you. Bring me cards, plenty of cards. I'm buying, with what I'm gonna now. It's gonna depend on how I do next Friday in Old Bridge. I will probably have anywhere from 2 to 4,000 to spend. I typically look for stuff that's about 500 and below. Usually like from 50 to 500 is kind of like my sweet spot of cards that I like to buy. So if you got stuff like that, bring them by. Even if you got stuff that's a little over 1,000, I'd be interested in that if I have the money for it. But anything you have, I will always look. I will always see what I can do. If I can use it, I'll take it. Like I'm not gonna, I know what I'm a little picky, but I know what I'm looking for. If I can use it, I will take it. I got a buddy that might actually be making the trip over from Rochester. I know he buys. He's a big whatnot guy. So I know right now he was looking, like I bought some cards that I got to send out to him shortly. He was looking for some Mendoza. So if you rip any Bowman Chrome and you get Fernando Mendoza, he'll pay you strong on it. He was looking for Wemby. I think he's taking it easy on Drake May right now. He likes the low end autos of like good players. So like I sold him like a Jonathan Taylor and Eli Manning, like $50 and below on those autograph stuff. Like that's the type of stuff he wants, and I believe that he will be in the building. So as long as he is there, I'll let you guys know next Monday, assuming I know by then. But if he's in the building, that's the type of stuff that he looks for. You can do really well selling him good whatnot stuff. He's always buying that kind of stuff. His name's Ryan. So if he'll be there, I will make sure you guys know he's a great one. He'll be able to take some of that lower end stuff that might be harder to move at good prices for yourself. And as long as the price is right, he'll take a lot of it.
Yeah. So a lot of great opportunities, a lot of great stuff coming up, and can't wait to see you all out there. Thursday, January 22nd, 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. GG Cards or Breaks Trade Night converges on the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. Central and upstate New York's card community is tremendous, and whether it be at sports cards or trading card games, so make sure you come out and hang out, and everybody that's visited has been amazing as well. We can't wait to see you out there. Murph and I will be there, but not before we preview the national championship of the college football playoff on National Championship Monday, a week from today, on Monday, January 19th, where I, by the grace of God, will be doing that live from Miami, Florida. Murph, as always, I appreciate it. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
That coming from Murph, and we'll take our final step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We'll wrap up the show here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios to start off your week before the College Football Playoff National Championship. And that is here with us right now where sports meets life. Thank you for being with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I ask you to stay with us as we will go through this fast break. You'll hear from our wonderful companies we have the blessing of working with, and we will round out the show right after this.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop sports card and trading Card Shop. Make your way over to GG Cards and Breaks Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, Sundays from 10 to 5, and you will find packs, boxes, singles, graded cards, as well as everything you need to protect your cards, showcase them, and travel with them. They are the one-stop shop where you get to be a big kid all the time. Head to GG Cards and Breaks on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, and let them know that DT sent you. Many thanks to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. You will find Megan Sorber and her team, a fantastic place, and so thankful that we have the opportunity to be with Chick-fil-A on Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. The giant brick building, massive dining room, double drive-through, and of course you can order on the app. Go and get your favorites and your limited time only Chick-fil-A greatness at Chick-fil-A in DeWitt on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I want to thank you for being with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. We appreciate you being with us where sports meets that thing called life. And, of course, once we're live, we jump into the archive. We're already up on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. The episode with Murph from today, speaking on the college football playoff, as well as the NFL playoffs and the upcoming NFL draft. All of that and more is already up on Podbean, and it will be going out to get all of these wonderful avenues that we just mentioned. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Click subscribe, follow, make sure you're with us on these channels. It is free to listen and download our show on these wonderful channels. And on Podbean alone, there is over 2,000 episodes for your listening and downloading enjoyment. Many thanks to the wonderful support of our Central and Upstate New York partners, Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Myers Creek with 2 locations, one on the countryside on 33 Rippleton Road in Cazenovia, the other in the Syracuse Inner Harbor on 720 Van Rensselaer Street in Syracuse, New York. Chick-fil-A Cicero, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Mother's Cupboard, Pizza Man, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, Game Point Sports Complex, Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Brian's Landing, Avicoli's, and of course we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. You'll find the Bobcats every single month in what we call the Bobcat Buzz, with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining the show with coverage of Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse like you've never experienced it before. You'll find it all by going to youtube.com /WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our BSC Syracuse playlist. You'll also find the Bobcats by going to WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage, and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bearcats every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time weekly during Bearcat Time with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni. The Bearcats are approaching the end of 2 years of working together, and I feel like we've just gotten started. The Binghamton Bearcats can be found on youtube.com /WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find our Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to BinghamtonBearcats.com and go Bearcats. The Onondaga Community College Lasers are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Lasers every other Wednesday, bi-monthly Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Student athletes, coaches, and administration joining us in what we call the Laser Lounge with coverage of OCC unlike anything you've ever experienced before. You'll find all of our content by going to youtube.com /WakeUpCallDT. And make sure you click subscribe, hit that notification bell, and find our OCC playlist. The Lasers are also on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to OnondagaLasers.com and go Lasers. I want to thank you for being with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios and let you know one more time to get your next ride, buying or leasing at Great Lakes Honda City. They have new and used vehicles. You can get a sneak peek by going to greatlakeshondacity.com. And of course, you can visit them on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York, Monday through Saturday for sales and service over at Great Lakes Honda City. For now, Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. Murph, thanks for being with us. Brendan Murphy for DT and Murphy every Monday, and for being with us a week out from when Murph and I will be going live when I'm on site on location in Miami, Florida for the College Football Playoff National Championship. I hope you have a beautiful day. And from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, be good to each other, be honest, be kind, treat others the way you want to be treated, love others, love yourself, and above all, love your God, the one and only. I appreciate y'all. I send you my love. God bless. No stress. Do your best. We'll talk soon.